Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Synth Geekery. If you can't read, my name's Rant. How are you? Episode 289, we streaming live from Perth, Western Australia, which is a hell of a long way away, probably from where you are, except for Chris, because he also lives here. But we'll get to that later. If you're wondering what this show's about, it's about synthesizers, modular synths, sequencers, samplers, eurorack, all that sort of stuff. All the stuff you can see in this room, pretty much, and some. We have regular guests, so we'll get to those in a sec. And we also have 6+ years of service to your lovely synth community. If you are new here, welcome. Jump into chat and say good day. And we do have a few of us already in, and I noticed that the Zoom callers are popping in too, so I'm just getting those added into the what do you call it, slots as we go. So Zoom callers, turn your cameras on, guys. I'm just going to turn your audio on as well. We got Brian and Dimitri already in. I'm just going to get those guys happening. Just give me a sec. By the way, say hello to Daren, who's next to me that way. Sorry, Daren, wave. Andy, wave. Say hello. Ian, say hello.
Hello.
Good day.
And Chris, say hello. And while we're at it, what we're going to do is we're going to pop in the Zoom callers just in here, so they're not feeling like they're being left out. Just give me a sec. I'm just going to add the video links in. It just takes a couple of secs for me to click on, and the computer's as slow as a wet week, of course, isn't it?
Exactly.
Here we go. Zoom caller 1. Yay! And then we've got Zoom caller 2. Hey, cool. All right, beautiful. And look at that. We got a new follower. Fantastic. Also,
how's it going?
big thank you from Steve, who's popped the $50 through. Thanks, mate. You didn't have to do that, but obviously much appreciated. Keeps the lights on. We are going to just pop into... let me just get rid of this. We don't need that one. All right. First, we're going to quickly say g'day to the two Zoom callers because they're important to the show. So I'm going to go across first to this gentleman here. Big hello to you. How are you? Introduce yourself.
Good, how are you? I'm Brian Recrusiak. I'm better known as Robots Are Red. I have a YouTube channel doing walkthroughs and all sorts of demo videos for eurorack and synthesizers, and making modules now. So here to kind of talk about that a little bit later on.
Absolutely. And you've had your coffee, mate. I'm hoping you've had your coffee. It's early in the morning over in your part of the...
Got my coffee
Oh, yeah.
now.
Okay, fantastic. And we've also got Dimitri, who's, I believe, in the UK. Is that right, mate?
That's correct, yeah, I'm in London.
Yeah, big welcome to you, mate. And just introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Sure, yeah, so I'm Dimitris Kyriakoudis. I'm originally from Greece, but based in the UK for the last few years. And I have recently started a eurorack company with my PhD advisor at the University of Sussex, making eurorack modules. And specifically the module that we released last year and we're kind of still growing is this live coding CV and gate sequencer and kind of modulator. So hoping to answer some questions about that.
Fantastic. We'll definitely get into that in the new segment, which is actually only a couple of minutes away. We're just going to quickly just get through just a quick hellos from everyone. So thanks to you guys for joining, and hopefully you enjoy the show because there's a lot to that we do. We do some regular segments. Hopefully we can entertain you a little bit with some of the things. It's very synthy related, so I think you probably enjoy it. Starting off, we'll just quickly say good day to the chatties. It's just going to refresh. There we go. Big hello to all you chatties that are in the chat. Obviously, special mention to the channel members who you guys can see with their little special icons next to their name. Big thanks for those guys. But also anyone that's new, say, hi, I'm new here, and we can come back to that in a sec anyway. But what we'll do first, though, I think we'll roll the stinger, and we'll get stuck into the first segment, which is Funny Side. Yes, stranger things can happen when you do look at memes, and this one definitely, I think someone's having a bit too much fun with their copy of Serum this week. Not sure. I mean, Dimitri, you said you still work at uni. I used to find if the lecturer left the whiteboard marker, we used to draw on the whiteboard for the next class. Does that happen in your university, or are they a little bit more controlled over there?
I'm not sure that we have many whiteboards left in my university. It's usually a projector.
Okay.
So you need some hacking skills to be able to get into that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this guy's got some hacking skills, let me tell you. I'm impressed. Anyway, moving right along, we've got a couple more to show. This one here, wow, if the fortune cookie's really more accurate, you will start storing your synths in the kitchen. Jeez. Yes, you know what they say about The Simpsons, how they've been able to predict the future with a lot of stuff, right? So, I don't know, guys. What are they telling us? Yeah, let's keep going. Vangela says, I can't get out.
Yeah.
You've seen this photo a million times. That's the best caption
Does he
I've
get
seen.
Does it get helicoptered in then?
Yeah, there's a winch that pulls him out.
He has to crawl under the mixer.
That's good fun. Fantastic. What else we got? You might be cool, but you'll never be Kraftwerk sending a robot to do an interview because Ralph couldn't be asked showing up himself. I love that. That is so good. And she sticks her hands out to shake the hand, and this thing just doesn't move.
Exactly. It's like,
It just stays there.
I'm a
inanimate.
robot, you idiot. Yes.
Awesome. Good on you, Kraftwerk. Right, what else we got? Your gear will soon be worth nothing, said these guys. Gosh, it's a bit pessimistic, isn't
Guess I
it?
have to keep it then.
Yeah, just pessimism all over that one, isn't it? I don't know who sent that one in. Need a slap, I think. Right, what else we got? I told you, 10 modules are enough. This is for you, Dimitri. The girlfriend's kicking you down the stairs already, mate. Geez, that's a bit violent, that one, isn't it? Maybe it might be time to leave. I'm not sure. Anyway, and this one, me at 20. Dearie me. Me at 40, me at 60. Dear. Gosh. That's a bit sad, that one. Yeah.
Very true.
We wish things sounded as real as ... is kind of the whole point here. Yeah. And the last one is, just in case you had some ideas about how you're going to set up your new house, this guy has it all worked out. Synth Studio is a perfect ratio to the house. By the way, comments on this were quite funny. It's like, well, you only need to sleep in the house. And then someone wrote underneath it, no, you don't. You don't even need a house. Just sleep in your studio. All right. I'm going to pop the poll into the chat right now. You guys should be able to see it.
Here we go again.
Popping it in. Now, it's a little bit tricky. All of you guys who know how to code will get this. All you do is !vote, all one word without any spaces, and then a space, and then the number that corresponds to your favorite meme. And there's 7 of them. By the way, the numbers start at 0, so there's actually 8 of them, I should say. So yeah, votes are coming in already. Have a go at it. Anyone have a crack? Look at that. They're all getting it correct. That's good. Okay, while we're doing that, we will let that play out for a bit. I'm just watching the votes tally up on the bot here, so we'll see what happens. Right, while that's sort of chugging away for about a minute or two, what we'll do is we'll just keep...
I can't remember what they were.
Well, Serum with the nice little drawing on it, The Simpsons, Vangelis, Kraftwerk, Dystopia, which was that real pessimistic one, The Mad Wife kicking them down the stairs, me at 60, which was the where I wish things sounded like ...
Yeah.
And then the Synth Studio. Now, I think the Synth Studio is definitely going in the right direction, that one. Votes are coming in strong, guys, so give it a minute or two, and we'll get to the votes in a sec. But in the meantime, why don't we play... Oh, indeed. And we have not me this week as your synth master. We actually have resident synth master Wagoo, who has sent in his request this week. Now Wagoo is in the chat, so he's there moderating it, making sure that everything goes properly. Now I'm just going to go and have a quick look here. The first clue, guys, this week for your synth quiz is FM. That's your first clue. We're going to give 3 clues. It'll be some random part of the show. You'll get those clues. Now, if you do want to jump on in right now and give your answer, which would be pretty silly, but you can. If you think you've worked it out, just put my name, Ranzee, and then synth quiz, and then your guess. So that way it highlights it to me. So you can have a crack at that if you wish. Right, now, let's stop the poll and let's have a look at what the favourite meme of the week was. Let's see if that's popped out. And we have got Synth Studio with 6 votes. Oh, geez, it was close though. Me at 60 got 4 votes. So there you go. Synth Studio won it. Now, Synth Studio was the one where you guys saw the massive, huge shed out the back and the tiny little house out the front. I think we all have those delusions of grandeur. Anyway, right. We should get stuck into the news because I have got a lot of products to show, and these gentlemen here are also waiting to answer your question about some of them. So whenever we get to theirs, we'll definitely be crossing over to them. So let's start with the stinger. And we're going to start with Bugbrand's Weevil. Now, Weevil's been around the traps a bit with various different sort of iterations. There's been in eurorack iterations, desktop module iterations. This particular one is a new iteration indeed, and I just need to get to my notes. I did have a chat to Tom during the week about this, and he corrected me on a few things, but we'll get all the right information to you definitely. Now let me get the video. I think there's a video here lined up. There is. Let's have a look at the video. Right. What is it first? The 20/25 Weevil, this is the one that we're looking at here, is the latest. This one integrates a whole bunch of chaotic oscillations and ring modulations into a unique palette for sound designers. It's kind of that sort of experimental musician type thing. You guys will notice down the bottom you've got those touch plates as well. But this has got a very interesting sort of layout, I believe, anyway. Let's have a look at the video, and then we'll come back and I can sort of pick apart what I've been told about this thing, and hopefully you guys can have a little look as well. Right, let's start with the video. Here we go.
Right up your street, this Ian.
Well, it would be, but
these are the different iterations. Here we go.
Best thing so far.
So he's using Oscillator 3. Anyway, I think I'll stop at that. That is really interesting. Anyway, I think you guys will probably agree. So yeah, that is the Weevil 2025 version. So if you guys have probably worked that out, it's actually like a little desktop box. This particular one, and it actually does have a built-in speaker, Daren, for your park bench compatibility. It does tick the box there, buddy.
Yeah, but the problem is, don't start your video like that for me numpties who
No.
can't play or do anything, because I would
He's
have
showing,
zoned out by this point and never get to see what the actual product's doing now. To just
yeah, he's
moved
showing
on
the
by.
the light. It reacts to light sensors.
Yeah, you can do that once you've hooked me into the video.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So what do we got? We've got three square wave oscillators that can be controlled via their rate knobs and range switches, as you can see on there. Then there's a starve knob. That was kind of interesting. That starve knob, when he twisted it back and it just went into sort of chaos. It's turned up for full power and then starved, and it sort of tames it a bit. The oscillators sort of fight one another. It's kind of like a syncing oscillator type setup, which creates those chaotic interactions. There's a stable switch which does smooth out the behavior, and there's also an LDR sensor which you saw at the start, which allows light to control that as well. There's 2 ring mods which are controlled by the balance knob, which you saw. The whole thing tends to be sort of sound evolving through the square wave, syncing, ring mod, filter. That's kind of like, that's where you're getting your sound. It is a state variable filter, which has self-oscillation on the resonance, and it does output response sweepable as well. It does have a drive control, and the cutoff frequency can be, and you saw it in the video, it can be modulated by oscillator 3. Those touch points down the bottom work when you bridge 2 or more. You saw him sort of mucking around with them before. And the responses depend on your skin resistance, as you know, those sort of things, those sort of capacitive touches tend to work that way. Anyway, £400 is the price for this baby. Currently sold out too. He's launched, the first 200 have gone. He is making some more, so it is popular. That's all I'll say. May not be popular for you guys, but it's definitely popular for those people who like that experimental sort of stuff. Thoughts? Anyone want to go first?
Well, I like the experimental stuff. I have to say I was underwhelmed by the video, if I'm honest. I mean, I'd need to get my hands on it and have a proper play with it. There's a lot of this sort of stuff. I mean, why is it automatically assumed that when you do experimental music that it all sounds like that? It doesn't. So I need to play with it. I need to spend some time with it. I've probably got other things like Sonority, the Pulsar, even the Terra, the Lyra, all of that sort of Soma stuff will probably do this. I know it's more expensive, and 400 quid is not bad for the price, but I was just underwhelmed by it, if I'm honest.
No worries.
I mean,
are entitled.
the video could have been better, couldn't it? Really?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's 6 minutes, and I probably only showed about a minute or two of it. So, and I did skip through it. Well, by the way, if you guys ever want to know, if you're new here watching, there is a blog article with all of the items that are shown in the show, plus links to videos, images, everything like that, prices, all that sort of stuff, are in that blog article. And in some cases, you actually get your own individual blog article, like Demetrius and Brian will, because they've decided to actually come on the show. So their products will actually get their own separate one, as well as being in that. Okay, we will move on. What do we got next?
A quick comment, though, about that thing.
Oh, yeah,
Remember the videos we've complained in the past about where the audio needs to work better because he has a cable going out to something, but it sounds like it's recording the room. It's not actually recording through the system. It's a hollow sound. It sounds like crap when you do that.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that for a demo where you want to sell something.
Yeah, that's a good
You're
advice.
not getting the full sound.
Yeah.
And also, don't put the weird stuff up front. Put the best stuff up front, like Daren said.
Absolutely not.
To sell it, and then do the weird shit later because it doesn't work. It doesn't. People lose interest.
Yeah.
Right? It
Has
does
it got
have
any
good sound
built-in
potential.
effects? Ranzee, has he got
For
any
what
built-in
it's
effects?
worth,
No effects, just what you see on the panel, mate.
No effects.
Go, Brian.
the sound of this thing sounds so modular. And there's all that space right up top for some CV jacks. That's what I would like to see on this, is some kind of semi-modular interactivity. It seems like it's begging for it.
Yeah, he has.
Does that have jacks on the back?
He has some modular iterations of this that he's made in the past. I don't know if they're still available, but you guys could probably check out the Bugbrand website and go and look. I think in that video there actually are some shots of the modules too. I skipped past it because it's kind of like a little slideshow, and we wanted to get to that part, which was at the end, which was kind of better than as we all agreed. Anyway, we will move on to the next, which is this weird looking contraption by Crow's Electromusic. This is called the Law. And I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking, is it this type of law? I'm not sure. But anyway.
That's not the M1 Law. That's a much better sound.
Actually, you guys will be happy. It's about FM, this particular one. It is a standalone all analog instrument that's kind of designed for, once again, exploratory sound synthesis, particularly suited for drones and ambient sounds, noise type music as well. There is a little video. Let's have a look. We'll get this is a Vimeo. I always have trouble with Vimeo. I don't know why. Vimeo sucks.
Yeah.
Why do you suck so much, Vimeo? Here we go. I'll just see if I can get you guys to have a look at this. I don't know how long the video goes for, so we'll just kind of skip and stuff as we need to. We're awake now, guys.
Dog whistle.
I'm just waiting for Dr. Smith to come into the show. After that one, Lost in Space.
William.
It was a bit, wasn't it? Yeah. Very radiophonic workshop.
It was. Anyway, so that is Law. What can I tell you about it? It is handmade. I like this sort of handmade stuff. I love guys having a crack. Handmade in Canada, 100% analog, as the guy said in the video. 2 triangle core oscillators. Crossfading, obviously, you saw in the video where you got the 2 sliders. And you can crossfade between triangle and square wave, which is actually pretty cool. There's 1 control per function interface, so there's no menu diving or anything like that. And it's pretty basic what it does, but just those manipulations of that simplicity is kind of where he's going with this. Fully standalone, all you need to do is just add headphones or plug it into your DAW or whatever. And it's kind of a nice little touch to it was that transparent enclosure, which I thought was nice. USB powered. Did anyone catch what type of USB it was? It didn't say on the specs. Did it look like a C?
No.
Wasn't sure. I wasn't quick enough to catch it. He did plug it in, or maybe, I'm not sure. It looks like it might be a C.
Looks like a C. The cable.
Yeah, look, hope it is. Let's hope
Just from
it is.
here.
Yeah, $59 US.
Bargain.
Yep.
If you haven't got that, someone that'll do that.
My only complaint is do some effects in the end of the video. Like, let's hear it with some effects too. That's
Yeah.
Well, the video was better.
Straight to effects.
This video was definitely better than the previous one, but
It was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can soon make a little picnic lunch for park bench compatible. Some effects. Play about with that. Perfect.
full guitar pedals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
Speaking
anyone
with a microcosm.
has anyone heard of Crow's Electro?
Oh yeah.
That's not what I wanted.
No.
No, I haven't. So if it's a first for me. Crow's Electromusic is the company. I don't know. They might have other products. Keep an eye on chat if someone sings out for that. All right.
It's kind of fun. They kept the homemade look too. It doesn't look polished or whatever. It looks like
Yeah.
somebody just made it at home.
3D.
So
It looks like a 3D printed case.
Yeah.
That's what that 3D printed transparent filament is really good at. That kind of look.
I feel like if you're going to do something handheld, though, guys, there needs to be some sort of wireless capability. I feel like this. I mean, obviously that'll add to the cost of this. It's very cheap, $59. But if you add some sort of wireless capability to this, like wireless, whether it's connectivity somehow, I feel like it's just gonna, instead of this thing have cables hanging out and you're on your little sort of EMOM performance and you just turn around and just yank the cables out. I can just seeing this thing as being a little bit difficult to play. But then again, it's if it's sitting on your desk, easy stuff, right?
But it's all analog. You're taking away the analog goodness once you add wireless to it. So.
If you digitize it, you'll ruin the analog.
I mean,
yeah.
Still waiting for that analog DAW to turn up. Solve all our analog dreams. All right. It's called a cassette recorder, guys. You should know this. Brian, are you ready, buddy?
Called the Beatles.
Brian,
You bet.
Yep. Here we go. We're going to show this bad boy, the SumpPump. You guys have not seen this yet because Brian's only just released this. This is a noise gate compressor, and I'm not even going to talk about this. I'm actually going to let Brian talk about this, and we've got videos lined up. Brian, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to show the vid first? It's a really great introduction you've done, or do you want to just have a chat about it first?
Yeah, show the video clip first.
All right. We'll just do the intro part, right? So I reckon it's perfect how you've done that. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Robots Are Red here. In this is SumpPump. SumpPump is...
There we go. We won't do that part because that's Brian's job. Hey, welcome, mate. Tell us about this amazing module.
So, SumpPump, it started as a super simple idea. I just wanted that Boss noise suppressor pedal in my modular rack, because I had some super compressed drums that when the drums weren't playing, I was just getting that super loud compression hiss, and I wanted to kill that. And I can't find any noise suppressors in eurorack that had what I wanted in it, and so I kind of started working on making that, and it was just a noise suppressor at first, and it was like, well, we have all the parts in there with the comparator and everything that we could just flip it and make it into a compressor as well. And it kind of went from there. But yeah, it's basically based on the gate effect from Ableton, if anyone is familiar with that.
Yep.
It's same controls as that. You have your floor, threshold, attack release settings. And the only thing it doesn't have that I wish it did now was the a hold for the envelope. But you get a gate with the envelope, so it's still good. So I'll explain the module now. So it's a noise gate or compressor, stereo. The envelope follower for the compressor or noise gate only follows the left input. So you could do mono side chaining if you want, or do full stereo. There's manual engage input for additional side chaining and a duck input for additional side chaining. So there's kind of three different ways you could side chain this thing. CV control over threshold and the floor setting, And then there's an envelope output as well. So you could kind of use it as an envelope generator if you want. You could use it as a VCA in a pinch. So yeah, it's a pretty versatile module that I have two in my rack right now just to tackle all the different things I wanted to do with my case. Yeah, so there's attack and release controls with the envelope. Attack, they go about a millisecond to about 5 seconds, so about what you need for a compressor. And it gets, what's really fun about it is, I designed it as more utility sort of thing, but it gets into extreme territories really quick, and it's really easy to kind of dial it in, that you could really feel it nicely, that you're not going to like accidentally get into extreme territory if you don't want. But yeah, it's really great for chopping things up and using it as an effect rather than just a utility.
That's awesome. Definitely piqued my interest. And I think you've got it listed as 170 US. Is that correct?
Yes,
It's
170.
Excellent price. Excellent price.
Thank you. Yeah. It's just for sale on my Etsy shop right now.
Yep.
There's kits that are coming to Modular Addict very soon. And those will be 130.
Okay.
So
Save
quite a
few
bit
dollars.
cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm working on getting some DIY kits over to the EU or UK somewhere.
Yes, like
so
Thonk.
that's in process now. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. Right. So there was a couple of other things that I thought I'd just add to it. So I believe with your AR, you can also combine them to get to 10 seconds. Is that correct? Like with your attack and release, you can combine it. So
sure.
Yep. So there's a couple little sort of quirky tricks that you can do in there. One of the things I liked about it too was the duck input has an AC coupled input, which I thought was actually really cool. Which then you can actually use the internal envelope follower for some sort of effect type thing as well. So almost like a ARP 2600 sort of thing going on there in that sense, right? Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that worked out nicely. I wanted to just be able to put a kick in there, and we messed with the resistor in that spot with a few different values, and we got a nice middle ground that also will work with triggers as well. So you don't have to just use audio.
Fantastic. Awesome. So you're saying to me before that you've got a couple of these in your case. Are you kind of are you just using them in various just random things, or are you actually putting them together in some sort of dual format? Is that kind of, or both maybe? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
No, I don't have them interacting with each other in my rack just yet. That's a great, fun idea I need to experiment with though now. I keep my rack's right over there. I keep looking over. Yeah, right now I've been using one for my synth voice and then one for drums, because it's really great on drums, as I've showed in my video, but then it's also really good on synth voices after your envelope and VCA. Is you could kind of do more manual control of your envelope and kind of chop it up and bring it back. It worked really well for doing like build-ups and things like that. So yeah, or just burying a sequence and then kind of revealing it.
Nice.
From chopping it up. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
This is also possible as an alternate, because low pass gates are almost like everywhere, and everyone's done it, and it's like a one-trick pony almost with low-pass gates, because they're very hard to manipulate unless you get some crazy one like the Erica Synths version, which most people don't. But this just gives you sort of an alternative to that, and you've got the compressor side and that ducking side as well. So with the way it treats the audio signal, just run us through the signal path on that. So say we put an audio signal through and we want to use your ducking input, for example, like what kind of what's happening under the hood there?
Yeah, so the most complicated thing in the circuit is a VCA, I believe, in a comparator. So everything is just kind of routing to this NVCA. So I have my inputs are going into that, and then if the VCA is being held open by voltage, and and seeing in the chat here, Seatnik Synth actually did the circuit work for me on this, and he can correct me if I'm wrong on anything. So the signal goes into left and goes into an envelope follower. That envelope follower signal is compared against the threshold level in a comparator. The switch of the gate and compress depends on, determines the orientation of the comparator, I guess you'd say.
Expanding. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Expanding versus compressing.
Correct. And then so that gate from the comparator is just going into an envelope generator, and the envelope generator is basically attached to a very biased attenuverter, which is the floor knob. So at about 3 o'clock is unity, and if you go clockwise from that, you could get up to a 2-time boost, and you go counterclockwise, and you could cut it all the way down to completely silent. I put negative infinity in there to kind of match what the Ableton gate has.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense too.
Yeah, so that envelope is being applied to that NVCA along with the duck signal. So the duck is just AC coupled input going into an envelope follower, a separate envelope follower from the main input, and that is just being applied to that NVCA.
Yep.
So I found that attenuating the duck input helps if you don't want it, full force.
Yep.
Does
it have any rounding on it? Is it kind of like does it have any sort of filtering or slight rounding on the edges?
Maze.
Yeah.
In compression, I call it.
There's no attack on it. It's very, very snappy.
Good.
But then the decay has a nice, I would say it's like a nice medium kick decay as far as like the decay length. As far as any like curve on it, I've noticed that the envelopes have like a hint of exponential curve to them.
Yeah, great.
But it's very close to linear, but it was leaning a little exponential.
Fantastic. Awesome. I love the graphics on it. Did you do the graphics yourself on the module?
Yes. I'm my day job is a graphic designer and an illustrator. So I do all the graphics for my panels, and I actually do graphics for a few other synth companies as well. Do the Seatnik Synth, who helped out with this panel. He helps me out with circuits. I help him out with design stuff. So I do his design, and I've done a bunch of design for After Later Audio as well.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Do you guys have some questions for Brian while he's here? Might as well.
I want to have a question. I was just going to say before you said it, I love the graphics on it, because I always like to see decent graphics on modules, especially because I'm not as big as modular as Andy and Chris and Ranzee. Even though I've got my modular, but I just use it for messing about for sound and stuff. But be quite good for live as well. I think it'll be really, really, really useful for live. Yeah. Anyone doing EMOMs with them, that'll be really, really interesting. There's a few people actually not on the show like this. So yeah, and I was just going to say I love the graphics, and the price is
thank you.
Not bad at all either. Decent price. What it'll be like
thank you. Yeah, for stereo for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Because quite a few times on the show, we always look at it and they go, "Oh, it's nice, but God, that's a bit expensive." But nice is in the decent ballpark for a change. You know, we're not all putting our hands in our hands and head thinking, "Oh God, that's just ridiculous pricing." But yeah, I like it. I like it, and it'll be great for EMOMs, I think. So
great,
nice live.
And
module.
I will vouch, it is fantastic live. I've done 2 gigs with it already. Really great for doing chopping up drums, and I was doing build ups with my synth voice with it in my last show.
That's what I was thinking, because I like the Ableton, for doing the chopping and stuff on the Ableton. But obviously this is not Ableton, but since it's inspired from the Ableton version, so that'd be quite cool as well. So yeah. So I'd give it a thumbs up.
Beautiful. Excuse me.
I have a question as well, if I may. Especially since you said it's inspired by kind of the DAW utility and something that in that world we take so much for granted, but in Eurorack a lot of these things don't exist at all. How did you find porting that sort of thing into the Eurorack world as a design process? Like, did you have to change the kind of the tuning of the knobs, or how did you play with it knowing that it's going to live in a different context rather than in a DAW?
The biggest thing I think was really figuring out the threshold range in Eurorack of, like, we don't want to go to 10 volt because that would be too big of a range, but 5 volts is not enough. So I think the threshold range is 8 volts, which ended up being like a really nice feel with that. We're actually in the process of porting this to a guitar pedal as well, which we'll need to fine tune and play with that again to adjust to the guitar world. It just worked out really nice. The design's very simple. That there weren't too many issues. The biggest thing was that duck input, honestly.
Fantastic. Great questions, guys.
Actually, I had a question about the gate function. I haven't used the Ableton gate function at all.
Mm-hmm.
Is this similar to like the Novation X Gator on some keyboards I had in the past, where you can get like a staccato, almost arpeggio gate function, or does it not do that?
Style.
It's just a noise gate.
There's a noise gate. Okay. Right.
Yeah,
But
it's just a real simple sidechain noise gate utility in Ableton.
Right. Okay, no, that's good. I was curious if it was like that as well.
You can run
I hear gate and I hear different things.
You can run a clock into it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, with
'cause
Max,
it's,
you could do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, Brian. Fantastic. Stick around if you can, mate. Because what I want to do a bit later is we want to sort of show a little bit more about Robots Are Red, and maybe pop into your Etsy store and have a bit of a browse around as well. So you can tell us about some of the other stuff that you sell. But I do want to get through the rest of the news segment, if that's okay. Fantastic, though. Appreciate it. All right, what do we got next? Next is the ProADSR from G-Storm Electro. Now, this is if I remember rightly, this is a Curtis ADSR envelope chip. And if I look at my notes here, it's a 3310. So obviously not the original, obviously the remake. But if you do notice, this is actually a dual ADSR. There's two, which is handy. So you've got 10 volts and inverter contour at minus 10 volts on this, and you've got your standard ADSR controls. You'll notice also that there's gates, 2 outs on both, and 2 inversions, and so which is all I always find handy with an envelope module, that it's got the 2 outputs. It's because that way that they're not passively split or anything, like, that they're the right sort of voltage coming out. You don't have to buffer them or anything like that. What can I tell you? I mean, this is standard stuff. If you know about your 3310, you'll know that they have 1 millisecond decays, right up to sort of 130 second duration. So it can be quite a range on this particular thing. So the attack ranges from 1 millisecond to 10 seconds. Decay ranges from 2 milliseconds to 130 seconds. Release times are 2 milliseconds to 40 seconds. So pretty interesting. But this is kind of standard stuff. Anyway, so $150 US for this, for 2 ADSRs, which I thought was pretty good. Gonna just make one quick comment, and you guys can go and check it out. There is a video as well, which we'll show. And that is that there's a lot of competition in Eurorack land with this particular 3310 format. So I was sort of just intrigued by why G-Storm decided to go with this. Maybe it was a personal thing that they needed, and they thought, well, we'll share it with the world. I mean, that sort of stuff does happen. But I'm thinking that if you just jumped into modular grid, you'll find quite a lot of 3310 envelope generators out there already. One that I actually have here is the feedback modules one, which is just a single one, but it's only only 60 euros. So you could get 2 of those cheaper than this. If you want. Well, you can get it even cheaper if it's DIY.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Let's have a quick look at the video, and then we'll do some comments about this. I mean, you know, how excited can you be about an envelope generator? Well, maybe you can.
Hello and welcome back to the Studio Lab. Today I'm introducing my ProADSR Eurorack module, a 3310 based dual envelope generator. Colorful exponential attack decay sustain release contours. Lots of short range decay adjustment. Decay goes from very snappy 1 milliseconds to slow as molasses 130 seconds. Metal shaft potentiometers and mini contempo knobs. Each envelope has gate input with red LED indicator with trimmer for dimming. 2 buffered positive voltage output contours. That way you can send the same envelope to your filter and VCA as I'm doing here. And a DC inverted contour. At gate off, the envelope proceeds to the release stage. If release is still sounding off when the new gate is received, the envelope picks up again at the attack stage, at the extant voltage position. Be sure to check out my reverb store for availability and all other cool Eurorack modules I make. Link is...
Fantastic. Well, there you go. Comments about this one. G-Storm Electro Pro ADSR with the graphics from the sequential days on it.
I noticed he had a few modules from feedback modules in there.
Yeah,
I suspect it. Shout out to everyone. Good man. I suspect he wanted 2 of them in one module, so he thought, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
I might have to do electronic design. That could be the reason why. Yeah, the 2 outputs buffered is a good idea.
Yeah. Metal shaft knobs, good idea. Mentioning that too. Yeah.
Is it just me, or did he sound like Mike Myers in Wayne's World?
Don't know if he sounded like Mike.
I didn't pick up on that, Andy.
A little bit. I mean,
play back. You'll hear it.
We got to get that. Got to get that car graphic out that we used a few weeks ago, don't we?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I mean, it's an envelope, guys. You know, how excited can we get over an envelope? Do you reckon they missed a trick with one thing on this day? Do you reckon it would have been nice to have a little cycle? Thing on here.
Would have been nice to have the cycle.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible. Is it an emulation of the Curtis chip, or is it actually?
No, it's an actual remake of the Curtis chip. But if you were to do a cycle, you would actually have to introduce some sort of CPU or clock or something.
Digital, discrete digital circuitry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably the omission. Yeah. All right. What is next? Gosh, a lot of Eurorack today. Whoa, jeez. Who's been watching the videos on this? There's brilliant video from Ben, DivKid on. If you haven't seen it all yet, do recommend watching that. I can't show Ben's video because I always get copyright claims. I don't know why, but anyway. this is from Chaos Devices. This is the now I'm going to pronounce this badly, Samarkanda. So it's what you're seeing here is actually one module, not 4 separate modules. It is actually one module. They are 4 delay modules, basically. They're performance-oriented delays, and it's kind of interesting, this thing. I'm going to go... I'll show you guys a video in a sec, but I'm just going to go sort of full mental on this, right?
Full mental.
Full mental. One of the things I love about this thing is that if you look at the way they've designed this, like for example here, you've got the mix out, right? But you'll notice that it's normalized through. So mixed out to mixed out to mixed out is all normalized through. So you don't actually need to connect all of those through, which makes this thing kind of interesting, because then you know that you can then have a delay going into a delay going into a delay, right? So, and each one of these delays can either be linked through this little link, so that's tempo linked, right? Or they can just be free running. So that's pretty cool as well. But on top of that, you've got these feedback inputs on here, right? So you could, for example, let's bin all that. You could actually go, I want to bring the mix into the feedback input and start working with these kind of weird sort of wet out back into the feedback input and getting some sort of real crazy stuff going on. You know, this is kind of where you're going with this sort of stuff, right? But also interesting, yeah.
Sorry, you can also arrange it as a stereo delay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you're mixing out left. You could do a left channel there. You
could do a ping pong.
And you're mixing out on the right channel there. So you could do a ping pong, yeah. Especially with the feedback going on, right? The other thing too is it's got reverse there on each of them, and it's also got hold, Daren. So it's your freeze button. Get your freezer out. And,
yes, I've been watching this, because this is also another sort of module. Because like I said, I was getting to the sort of more. I'm liking modules where you can fit them into a little tiny little box rather than having it in your full on modular kit, so that it becomes almost like just a little desktop unit. But you can take that around and about and use it with all your other synth stuff rather than just having a specific in the module. So I quite like these type of modules where I can think, oh, I can get that, stick it in a little box, I've got it on my desk and use it just as is. And it reminds me a bit of the triple delay. What is it? The guitar pedal triple delay, which is very similar, where you can parallel or series the delay. So yeah, I was quite intrigued with this, and I quite like what it does.
Yeah. All right, let's have a little listen, and then we'll talk about the rest in a sec. Skip a little bit. That's the hold effect. All All right, we'll leave it at that. That's definitely. I definitely recommend you watch the DivKid video. Not that there's anything wrong with the Xaos's own video. I thought that was pretty cool, but DivKid video shows some amazing things that you can do with these things if you add a few sort of extra modules around it. So you know,
well, this is one for Ian. This is like, because Ian's like, obviously he's not into modular, but this is like, no, it is. It's one of those that, like I was saying earlier before you come in, you can just.
Sorry, I had to go out.
No, Ian, this is where you would get into this rather than having a full-on modular. This would be quite handy. Like I say, it's a bit like a triple delay, the foot pedal, but this is a little bit more complex, and you won't have to be get into full-on modular. So it's just a box; you can just use it like that.
That's never going to happen. You know that, Daren, don't you?
I know. I know.
Well,
but if anything's close, it'd be like that.
Let's tell you the price.
Let's
tell you the price, guys, because there is a black panel version as well, which I can show you a graphic if you really want. But it's $688. This is so. There is a lot. I mean, you are getting 4 delay modules in one. Exactly. I mean, that's the kind of the clincher here. Couple of things that I sort of mentioned here. Clock divisions from 1/8 to 8:1, which I thought was a pretty decent range. What I also liked, it does have modes, tiny little switches down the bottom left and bottom right. You can see they are a little analog tape-like and digital granular sort of delay toggles that you can muck around with. With the digital stuff, you can get real sort of dirty. Noisy sort of delay stuff going on, which is kind of cool, especially if you're running it through things like bandpass filters and high pass filters and stuff like that. You get some interesting sort of effects, and then that feedback loop that I was telling you about as well, and then toggling up your delay time into something sort of almost Carper Strong sort of area, which kind of gives you that sort of cool stuff. What I want to say, it's high quality components. I don't know if you guys have ever owned Xaos device stuff, but they do build them.
They're amazing.
Really well.
Yeah.
They're using 24-bit AKM converters in here with 32-bit internal processing. So when you're looking at digital stuff, that's important because you want to make sure that it's going to be able to handle some of the headroom in what you're doing with these delay stuff. Yep. 0 to 0.5 milliseconds is the delay range, up to 15 seconds. This is per channel, but then if you link them, you can go up to 60 seconds when you stack them or chain them. What else is there? Lossless is the other thing that's important. So when you're chaining between each module, there's no actual sort of segregation. It's completely lossless. Cool. Thoughts, comments, love, hate, whatever. Go.
It looks beautiful.
I give you my comment. It is expensive, but then you are getting quite a bit for your money. But like I say, it's something I'd have.
It's not outrageous for that kind of spec module when you compare it to some, the IntelliGel C legs and.
Well, it's the same price as Brian's module if you divide it by 4. It's $172 each.
I'm sure that's how it works. Price.
Per HP, it's probably cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
You share the power supply for a start. Not that there's much in it.
Plus, it's hard to go wrong with the Berlin School demo. Gotta love those. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's for the likes of me.
I mean,
too much HP.
I've got so many delay
losing too much.
I've got so many delay modules already. It's crazy. I would love it. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love it because I'm a delay freak. I've got the IntelliGel C legs. I've got the Magneto 1-bit multi-tap delay from feedback modules. All that sort of stuff. I love that sort of stuff. Right? I probably don't need it.
You collect them like your phasers, so you collect them like your phasers, so you might as well go with this.
I'll have to sneak it in so the wife doesn't see it. As long as she doesn't kick me down the stairs, I'm laughing. What do you think, Dimitri? You think that's something that you'd be interested in, mate?
Oh, sorry, I was trying to unmute. I think you're gonna have a hard time sneaking that in, because it's kind of it's a
bulky
big boy. Yeah. I personally love delay so much, and it's one of the one of my favorite. I don't consider it an effect. I consider it like a basic building block of sound design. And to have every delay has its own sound in one way or another. But to have so many of the same delay in one module, I find quite useful, because then you kind of double down on its own character if you start combining them. So yeah, I've had my eye on it since it was released. I have a couple Chaos modules that I really like, and also I'm a huge fan of the massive time encoders that they put on there. It's
great.
Yeah, there's something about the hands-on control of a module. I mean, there's a lot of modules that try and cram as many encoders and buttons on there as they can, but for specifically, especially for something like delay time, you kind of want it to be really really generous.
It's like playing an instrument, isn't it?
They want you to touch that time encoder. That's what they want you to do. You know, otherwise it'd be tiny, wouldn't it?
Tiny change is going to make a massive difference to the sound. You got to play it.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think it's time we actually head on over to Emute Lab Instruments and have a look at this fantastic product here. Oh, gee, that didn't come out too good. I might actually change that graphic.
Transparency can be a bitch.
What the hell
sometimes.
just happened there? Give me a second.
Yeah, it is the transparency.
I will fix it up. Do not worry. I've got a better one. Here we go. Let's go down to here. And we'll just change it to this. There we go. How's that? Is that better? In fact, we can even make it bigger.
Channels.
Make it bigger. Look at that. Is that the correct graphic?
Yeah, that's correct. It's lacking the legend for all the inputs and outputs, but I'm here to walk you through that, so that's not a problem.
All right. So what we got here is the, how do you say? Is it uSEQ? Is that how you would say it, or uSEQ?
Yeah, I call it uSEQ.
Yeah, uSEQ. 8 HP. Now this thing completely has me interested. I'm not going to lie. I'm completely sold on this whole thing, and maybe what we should show first is the video, and because that'll really sort of hook them in, I think. Without me mentioning anything and without you mentioning anything, the video I think is kind of really going to show them what this does, and then maybe we'll go back to you in a sec. All right, let's do that. In fact, why don't we full screen the video? Have a look. I've just picked this one too. I don't know if this is the best one to pick, but I thought it was pretty good anyway. Is that okay to use this one? This is the rhythmic envelopes one that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the earlier versions of the editor, so it'll be nice to see what you think of the newer version that I've got running here.
Okay, cool. All right, let's have a look at this. Oh, I'm not going to give it all away. You guys have to watch that video on your own. All right, beautiful. This is got me completely hooked. This is a live coding module for your modular system. Over to you, Dimitri. This is awesome, mate. Tell us a bit about it.
Sure, cheers. So uSEQ is the result of it started as a research project. It actually started as me telling myself that I'll get into eurorack by kind of trying to bypass the cost of buying sequencers and a bunch of other flows and all that stuff. And I was like, I can just use my laptop to control all these amazing sounding modules without having to spend like £500 on a Ranzee or something like that. Turns out you need to spend more on DC coupled audio interfaces than on sequencers to make that happen. And so I went up to my PhD advisor, and this is kind of coming out of my research as well at Sussex Uni, which is on live coding instrument design, and an embodiment in live coding. And so I asked him, can we, instead of having the computer and the modular, can we put the computer in the modular so that we can actually bypass the need for an audio interface altogether? And with his help and with the help of Steve Simmons, who's our other collaborator at Sussex, we put together a prototype. It was actually, I have one of the early versions here. This isn't the earliest, but the earliest version had like a very, hacky DIY 3D printed panel. It actually featured an entire Raspberry Pi Pico in the back that was hand wired to the rest of the module. And this one is a proper kind of PCB panel.
Yeah.
And we wanted to stick with the eurorack kind of aesthetic. So we hacked a USB cable so that it plugs into your laptop on one end as a USB cable, but then it turns into a jack cable that you can actually plug into here to get the code to kind of flow through to the module. We scrapped that for a more practical USB-C cable in the next few versions. So that's kind of what the module currently has. And the premise is simple. We have 3 CV outputs, 3 gate outputs, and each one of those corresponds to those A1, D1 expressions and so on that you see on the screen. So A1 just stands for analog output 1. D1 is digital output 1, so gates versus continuous CV. And each one of those expressions will run as quickly as possible on the module itself, so on this little Raspberry Pi chip. So that after you've programmed it and you're happy with what's going on, you can just unplug and store it on the onboard memory and power down your rack, show up at a gig, and it will go back where it left. And so yeah, the idea is live coding CV and gate sequences for whatever kind of purposes you can think of. It's all control rate at the moment, so there's no audio rate stuff. You can't generate audio, and that kind of really nicely separates it from all the other programmable modules in a sense that this is specifically and explicitly a sequencer. So it's meant to just be controlling other things in your rack versus a lot of other modules that kind of, it can be a reverb, they can be a delay, they can be an oscillator. This has a very specific purpose in your rack. And there's they can be chained together. There's a little 8 CV expander that we're working on. And so the idea is, you can just keep adding more and more in, and they add their own chip, so you're not kind of bogging down the main one with more and more workload. And yeah, I'm leading up to being able to control everything in my rack through live coding, which will be quite fun.
Absolutely. And you said there was a new interface with the console to code. So just to make it clear, the all that the module needs to run is to be sent the code as text. So it doesn't really matter what the interface is that produces that code, and it doesn't even require the user to actually type that code in. We can have any kind of traditional interface that, as long as the movement of your encoders and the presses of your buttons translate to the right code being generated and sent to the module. So it's all open source, and we're hoping people will start building their own interfaces to it. But the main interface that we have, which runs in the web browser, if I may share my screen, I can show you what I've what I've got going here. System window capture. So this is what we've got going now. Can you see this? Yes, we can. Yep.
editor
Oh,
screen. Yeah, sure. So so we've got a little live visualization of what's going on currently in the patch. I don't know if you can still see my camera. Probably not while I'm sharing my screen, but I have a very simple patch in front of me. uSEQ is controlling the trigger, decay, and morph of a Basimilus Iterata Oscillator. It's just the one voice drum module, and the CV of a Mutable Instruments ripple, so just a low pass filter. So the idea is to show what kind of variation we can get out of just these two modules, the drum voice and the filter, and then uSEQ doing all of the control work. I've struggled to get Zoom to share my desktop audio, so I'll do a little experiment and try and share the microphone audio. Let me know if that works at all. If I can get a thumbs up from anyone when the volume reaches a good enough level. Oh, I think I might also need to.
I have to turn off echo cancellation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be.
If you've got echo cancellation turned on your Zoom settings, and we've lost.
I'm not sure if you can hear any of that.
Yeah, no, we didn't hear it.
No.
Have you got echo cancellation turned on?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out how to switch it off. I think I just need to stop the share for a moment and then restart it. There we go.
This is the hardest.
So
part.
let me know if you can hear it now.
Demos.
Yep.
Aha.
Yeah.
I can hear now. Nice. I can see it and I can hear it.
So one of the things that's happening in this patch is I'm using the module's onboard toggle switch. There's a 3-way toggle switch at the top. And so I've programmed it here. There's this little function called toggle pick, where I just give it a list of 3 numbers, and depending on the position of the toggle switch, that's what's going to get selected. And so in this case, I'm multiplying the number 3.5 with the number either 1, 2, or 3, and that's the number of steps in my Euclidean sequence. So out of 16 steps that I divide the cycle in, I take either 3.5, 7, or 10.5 steps, and then I'm just gonna. This is also visualized with this yellow line. So as I'm flipping the 3-way toggle onto the different values, hopefully you can see that number going up and down. And so I'm just gonna let you hear that what kind of effect that has. So credit where credit is due. The Basimilus sounds amazing, and on its own it makes for a very easy demo. But then there's a few more things that happen to it. So the orange line that you see here is controlling the decay of the Basimilus, and so it's again a relatively simple patch. I have these 3 values. So 0.55 would be the kind of lowest decay that I send, and then 0.7 and 0.9, and then I pick from them. So 0 will pick the first number, 1 will pick the second, and 2 will pick the last. I pick, basically I go through this list of numbers every 2 bars and pick one number based on that. So it kind of sequences the long decays with the short decays, just to kind of accentuate some beats more than others. The morph parameter of the Basimilus is just a random value that's produced 4 times a beat. So that's the teal line that you can see here. And then I'm scaling that between 0.2 and 0.7. This is just to just tuning it by ear, basically, to get a nice feel for it. And lastly, the low pass cutoff is going from these numbers, which are scaled instead of 1 to 9, they're scaled to be between 0 and 1. and I'm going through them either every 4 bars, every 2 bars, or every 6 bars, depending on the position of the toggle switch again. So just
nice.
a simple patch that kind of showcases how you can use the hands-on controls and what kind of things you can do with the different CV outputs. And then some new things to show about the editor. We have, this is not a very important thing for many people, but we have some custom themes that you can pick through. My favorite is the hacker mode.
Oh yeah.
Although
Where's
it
the
can
matrix
become
code?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the next thing I'm adding. Actually, is a little the letter range
don't
display.
Now, can I ask, is this LISP? Is this Lisp?
Yeah, so it's a language based on Lisp. We call it Modulisp.
Yeah, right.
So
I like
Modulisp
that.
from modular or modulation and Lisp. And it's a language very much based on Lisp. So the idea of Lisp is very simple. The first thing inside the parentheses is always the verb, and then everything else is the argument. So if I evaluate this, the module comes back and says, whatever the result of this is. And so in this case, what happens is digital output 1 will take this entire thing, and then analog output 1 will take this entire thing, and then it recursively, we build these structures. So it's very much a modular language as well, in its own way, which is one of the reasons why we thought it would be a nice fit for this kind of use case. And then if you have any, if you wonder what any of these functions do, you can go up to them and press Alt F, and it will open up the documentation and give you some examples and tell you what the arguments are. And there's a couple issues to iron out with the examples, but it's basically the idea is the module itself can tell you all of the things that it can do. So you have all of the timing functions here. It tells you what bar is, beat. These are all just kind of predefined convenience functions.
That's incredible. That's really, really good. There's a lot of work gone into this, that's for sure.
Hell yeah.
It's a very long project. It's been going on for a couple of years now, and it will keep going for much longer than that. But it's the idea is to build an open source ecosystem around it. So if someone wants to make an expander that just has an XY pad on it, or a step sequencer interface, the module itself, the expanders don't need to actually do what it is that their interface is, as long as they can write the appropriate code and send it to the module with a wire behind the case. They can talk to it, and so we're kind of hoping that this whole idea of like making it open source and documenting everything and trying to kind of make it as accessible as possible, not just to use but also to go in there and in the internals and like tweak it and develop it further. We hope that will mean longevity for the project. And then we have a few things planned down the road. The expander is one. I want to do an encoder expander where it's just like 8 encoders and you can read them in the code anywhere and control various things. Alternate interfaces, like a touchscreen interface where instead of having to type the code, you can drag and drop certain bits into the different outputs. So there's a lot planned.
That is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, over to you guys. Ask him some questions, whatever. There was a lot to dig into there. Even you, Brian. Wow. Join in, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do modular, but I am always amazed by people that do live coding. So it just seems like an absolutely incredible project. So well done, and be interested to see how it develops. It's fantastic.
I had a question. I would have a lot of fun playing with this at home. Oh, no problem. Just real quick, I would play with this at home with a laptop, but I obviously not take a laptop to a gig. So, is there a turnkey thing you have now to hook to this to start playing with the settings you've done at home without having to build something? I'm not much of a DIY guy like some people are. So,
Yeah, so if I understand you correctly, are you asking if you can use the module without having the laptop with you on stage?
Yeah, some
and
kind of you mentioned the ecosystem and making thingies for it, but what
Yeah.
what would you recommend on the market now to add to this to make it turnkey to take to an EMOM or something like that?
Well, all you would need is to find some code either online or I'm soon gonna add an in-editor snippet browser, so people can submit and browse other people's snippets and so on. You can try stuff out, and whenever you like what you have, you can run a single function. It's called uSEQ memory save, and you will store that on the memory. And then if the encoders and the push buttons and the toggles are all programmed to do things. And there's also two CV inputs and gate inputs. I failed to mention that, but you can program it so that if gate 1 is high, play this pattern. If it's low, play that pattern, and anything else. You can change speeds, you can change pitch, all of these things. So once you've got it configured the way that you like it, and that might be something that you wrote, or it might be something that someone else wrote and share it, and you just clicked run and you liked how it works. Then the module can just be that for you for the rest of its life if you wanted. But yeah, the idea is that it's the live coding aspect is something that we want to make more accessible to also do live. So hence the touchscreen interface, hence being able to have expander boards with more hands-on controls. So we don't want to necessitate a laptop and a keyboard on stage at all times. That's kind of what we're trying to move away from, and why we have the computer running in the module instead of just the laptop. So so that's there's no other product at the moment that helps that helps facilitate that more, but the module doesn't need it in the sense that you can, once you write the code in, you can then unplug it, and you possibly don't have to connect it to your laptop ever again.
No, I'm just thinking about having enough variety on the go without a computer. So like some kind of way to, like you said, it already stores some stuff, but to have a series of stuff stored on the go, so you could just jump between it during the gig.
Like multiple patches, a patch selection.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So there's one way I
Yeah.
can think of doing that. You can use one of the built-in encoders. If I find a module here, so you can use this encoder, and let's say you have 50 patches loaded in, or 20, or however many you want. You can have that encoder just switch as it's turning. The encoder itself is smooth, so there's no descent, so you're just gonna have to keep an ear out. A better way that I can think of is if we just made an expander with a little screen on it. So it would be a very cheap expander. It doesn't need to do much, but it just needs to have a number display and some buttons to go up or down, or select the specific number.
That'd be great.
And then when you get to that, you send the code from the expander to the module.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
What about maybe
Good
an
feedback.
SD card, and then you could save patch files on there, or something like that? Is that kind of going away from what you were sort of thinking of doing, or would that be something that's possible?
It's not going away at all. But there's an onboard flash memory in this, so you could already store these things. It then just becomes a question of what's the right interface to go through them and pick the one that you like in that moment. And so that's maybe where the kind of expander that I was talking about might come in handy.
Of course.
But yeah, there's it could just be a case of you can just hold the button down, and then you pick something, and then you let go, and then you still have the encoder available to do other things. All of these are options, and I'd be very happy to explore all of them. The project is open to suggestions and contributions, so especially now we live in the day of AI coding assistants. I'm actively working to try and make the project as well documented for all of these assistants to be able to help people who are not programmers themselves add these features and make these tweaks. So yeah, I'm hoping to see a future not very long from now where anyone can download the code, pass it to the AI, and be like, can you just make it so that when I press this button and I turn this knob, I go from this patch to that patch?
Ask ChatGPT to write you a little sequence for you.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Really, really cool. Now, what did we not mention just quickly, just before we wrap this little segment up? $350 US, is that correct, if you were interested in getting one?
So yeah, that depends on the distributor. In the UK, it's 150 plus VAT for the DIY kit. So that's from Thonk, a full kit with very little soldering. It's just the panel controls basically that need to be plugged in.
That's really cheap.
And then
reasonable. Very reasonable.
Yeah, the fully assembled module is 250 in the UK. And I believe that's from Signal Sounds. And there's quite a few more distributors around Europe. And in the USA, I think it's Perfect Circuit that stocks it, and there I believe it's around 350.
Yeah,
USD.
and that's for the fully assembled one. Yeah,
that's for this fully assembled module. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
I'm
you said,
curious about the thonk process. Can you explain a lot of people are doing the thonk thing these days. How hard is that to set up your stuff for thonk, for the kits and all that?
It's not particularly hard. So we're lucky to be based in the same city as Thong is. So we're both based in Brighton, and so we have a personal connection with him. They've been extremely helpful. So they supply us with a lot of the components. So I believe the encoders, the toggle switches, the jacks, and all that. So whenever we want to do a batch of DIY kits, I believe we just need to send them the PCBs, the panels, and some other miscellaneous bits. Like there's a USB-C cable that comes with the kit and so on. And then they handle everything else. We just put together the parts of the kit that we are responsible for, and then they supply things that they stock anyway. And yeah, they've been really supportive.
So basically, you kind of know them personally. That's kind of how you got that part of the conversation started. Because I would love to have some of my DIY kits available at Thonk one day, but I really don't know how to start the process.
I believe they're very open to that. So I don't think you need an introduction or anything if you just reach out. I think as long as they like a product, as long as they like the kit and it's something that they can see themselves using, they'd be more than happy to stock it.
Yeah, it has to be up their alley, I guess. And also, I imagine they have to be able to see it, to actually get some message. Because my documentations and websites and stuff's pretty good for that, so they'd probably be quite happy with the level of documentation.
And I think they just need to have an understanding of like what the build process would look like. So in our case, it's a very simple kit. In other cases, they might be much more complex, and then they might worry that people might not go for those kits as much. Obviously they're trying to they're trying to apply some business sense to it, and so if they think that it will sell, they'll be more than happy to stock it.
There's some other guys as well, not just the UK, but there's some, Brian, you were talking about maybe getting your SumpPump over to the UK, so that Thonk might be one. But there's also, is it Pusherman? Is that the other one? Plum Audio, that they also do kits. Yeah, so there's a few, and there's I think there's one in the US that does. Who was it? You use them, Chris? The
SynthAddict,
yeah.
They seem a little bit more closed in terms of, I think they really only want to deal with people in the United States.
Right. Okay. Well, that might be good for Brian.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
he's
there. That's fine.
They only want to deal with half the people in the United States.
Oh, half. Okay. No worries. Hopefully, you're on that half, or maybe not.
Probably not.
It's a weird world, isn't it, that we live in? Fantastic. Right. Well, Dimitri,
I've got one more question.
Quick one, yep.
For Dimitri. What language have you written the user interface, that editor you've got for your Modulisp editor?
Yeah, so the Modulisp itself is written in C++, because it has to run on very low powered hardware. And in fact, we're now in the process of rewriting it. I'm going to try and live stream the entire process of rewriting it from scratch, just to incorporate some of the lessons that I've learned, but also to provide even more documentation about how the thing works and how to tweak it. The interface, the code editor itself, runs in the browser. So you can go at useq.emutelabinstruments.co.uk, and you don't need to install anything. It just kind of pops up. And so it's written in JavaScript to kind of facilitate
pure Java, just in pure JavaScript.
Yeah, so it's written in JavaScript. It uses a JavaScript library called CodeMirror, which handles the kind of core of the text editor features, and then we've
Oh, okay.
customized that with some features on top
Yeah,
of
and
that.
then you've extended it.
Oh, like a
Yeah,
scratch
it's-
pad. Yep, gotcha.
Yeah.
And
see
then
in a moment why
the
I'm
one thing
asking.
that the one thing that I'm trying to do now is make it so that the editor can also run. It's the exact same code that runs on the module.
An emulation, an emulator.
Yeah, so and it's for either emulation purposes, or it's so that we don't need to bog down the module with having to report back for the visualization. So now what happens is the module needs to keep coming back to the editor and saying this form is at this value right now.
Yeah, the polling.
It slows it down.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to run as many of those visualizations as we can. Maybe even have something like an oscilloscope next to every expression, just so you can see what that expression is doing. But we want that to run entirely in the browser, so that the module can just do its own thing and not worry about that.
Cool. Fantastic. Awesome. Well, that was really good. Both of you guys, give yourselves a pat on the back. That was some awesome stuff. You guys have been very busy gentlemen indeed. Now we do have a couple more products to get through. So
one more thing, Ranzee, before we move on. Sorry,
yeah.
Asio had a question in the chat. Nobody got to it yet about dev boards and stuff.
Yeah. Do you want to just relay it for us?
It just says, will there be an option for just to get a dev board to build your own modules? So.
Dev board. Yes. So I'm not sure that I have any. Yeah, I can actually show this. So the expander is the first module that we're working with that has what we call the daughter board.
Off guard. There we go.
Yeah. So the expander has what we call the daughter board, which is basically the internals of the main module. It's the Raspberry Pi chip, and the USB and all of that. So just with the daughter board itself, which doesn't have any kind of interface paneling, just that board itself would be able to run the exact same firmware that the module is currently running. And so you could just plug this to your computer and use it as a virtual module. It's just not going to have any outputs. But then from there, people can just plug in their own
You can
inputs
hack
and
your own.
outputs.
Yeah, got it. Awesome idea. Fantastic. Thinking of everything. Awesome. Right. Okay. Next is a bit of a leak. You guys probably would have seen it. Actually, Andrew Ward, we know Andrew. Yeah. He's a good fella. He actually spied this magazine at London's Synth and Pedal Expo. You were there, Ian, actually.
I didn't see this at all.
You didn't see it yourself?
No,
yeah.
I completely missed this one.
Now, this is just a brochure from Synclavier, but on there you can see it's definitely talking about a new synthesizer called the ORK II. Obviously, there's an ORK out there already. This is the ORK II, and it's a keyboard synthesizer. And not a lot we can tell you about it other than it's a new Synclavier 2 and regen sort of combined with that sort of expanded heritage and power. It has FM synthesis, subtractive synthesis, and a whole bunch of DSP effects in it, reverbs, delays, modulation. So it's probably just one of those, sort of next iterations from Synclavier. But it definitely has some very interesting designs on it, and hopefully it's not a hoax. It's a real thing, and we can talk about this in the next shows. Did anyone see this and know any more about it, or is this kind of as much as we know? Is that where we're at this stage, I guess? Does anyone know any more? That's what I was going to ask. Nope.
No.
Robbie's shuddering in chat. I don't know why he's shuddering.
Yeah,
anyway.
no, that's because of his past experience with.
Oh, Synclavier, yeah, right.
I thought it might be because he had an NDA with them, but no.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
No,
no, he doesn't have an NDA. Just getting.
All right.
He's in a cold sweat remembering his demo.
What we'll do is we'll put a pin in this, and whenever we do show leaks, we don't usually dwell on them too much, but we will refer back if we get any more info. So we'll keep you guys posted, definitely. Now, Erica Synths have been busy little babies over there in Europe, and do you guys remember this DIY.edu system that they built? Yeah. The Labour. So this is a Labour add-on that it's actually quite interesting because they always wanted to put an oscilloscope in their Labour system, but they they pulled it out because it actually made the total cost of the Labour platform too expensive. But now you can actually add it on, and it's got an oscilloscope. Obviously, it's got a voltmeter, a spectrometer, a tuner, all built into it. It's a 3-channel oscilloscope, and 2-channel inputs are available on the female connector. The third is hardwired as the audio output. There's I don't know how you pronounce this. You guys can kill me for my butchered pronunciation. Lissajous curves visualizer. And it's 10 volt range with 0.1 volt accuracy, so not bad. Now there is I actually spoke to Erica, and they actually sent me a couple of bits and pieces about this, which was very nice of them. So the first thing is they pointed me over to their reels. They added a little reels video just for us to have a look at. So let's pop that in the middle there and play
A while ago, I designed a circuit prototyping tool called Labor, together with my friends at Erica Synths. Originally, we wanted to include a built-in oscilloscope. It's right here in my concept drawing. But to keep Labor affordable, we decided to cut it. Instead, we added an expansion slot, so we could bring the idea back later. And ever since we launched Labor, people have been asking for an oscilloscope add-on. A lot. Well, it's finally here. We call it Labor Scope, and it comes with 5 different modes. In oscilloscope mode, you can visualize 3 different signals, 1 at a time or 2 side by side. Want to check the phase relationship between 2 signals or just make cool visuals? Lissajous mode is perfect for this. In spectrum analyzer mode, you can get a detailed breakdown of your signal's frequency content, making it easy to fine-tune filters and wave shapers. If you need to check CV levels, offsets, or power rails, voltmeter mode has you covered. Finally, there's tuner mode, which helps you calibrate your newly built VCO quickly. Labor Scope is available now.
Right, so one thing I noticed about this too is, I mean, this is another sort of throwback to actually check out this Labor platform. Now, you guys would have noticed that the Labor platform is the breadboard, you know, and it gets you into sort of eurorack world using, you know, component trees, and they actually, but it's an educational platform as well. So they're not just going to throw you in the deep end and go, oh, here's a breadboard and just plug it in and you work it out. They actually give you little projects to build.
Yeah, they've got a whole library of building blocks of modular. Yeah. Basically.
So the actual oscilloscope, it's only €60, so this is not for the whole Labor platform. But if you wanted to, if you've already got one of these and add it on, it's only €60. So I thought it was, you know, kind of cool. Anyone want to comment on this? It's only a little quick thing.
It reminded me of the Zeroscope at a glance there, but it has way more features than the Zeroscope. It looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks quite nice.
The voltmeter. What's the cost again?
Nice.
I missed that part.
€60.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, this is not for anything else. This is just for the expander section of the Labor. So you've got to have the Labor, obviously. But so they've got 2 little education platforms now. They've got the Bullfrog and they've got Labor. So they're getting into that little world there. It's pretty good actually what they're doing over at Erica.
It's
very impressed. Right,
I don't know how well I was just going to say, I don't know how well the Bullfrog's done from an educational point of view, because I remember when it came out, we thought it was a bit pricey.
This is a cool 260.
Schools.
Well, they made that massive Bullfrog too, the huge one.
Yeah,
the huge one.
Yeah. It's a really good idea, though.
I think we don't see a lot of it because unless you're in that sort of education world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a bit like, what was that? There was a synth that Art made that
the original, the training one, 2600.
The training one, yeah. And they sold it to heaps of universities and schools and stuff, you know. And
I've seen the Korg MS-20. Is it MS-20?
Yeah,
that's
the MS-20.
Size of like half a house. Because when I was down at Korg, it was fantastic seeing this room there. And they've got there wasn't many of them, but they've still got one down in Milton Keynes.
Anyway, so I mean, we can find out how much the whole Labor thing is if you want. I'll just copy it and paste it, and I'll just give you a quick reminder. Where are we? So the Labor platform is 170 euros, and that's just the. It's pretty cheap. It's just
it's pretty good value. If I didn't have a whole bunch of SDIY infrastructure already that I built up over the years, that would be right on my radar.
Oh, it's a JPEG. I can show you it. I've got this this problem with this software that it doesn't like the new WebPs and AVIFs and things. But yeah, that's the. I've got it. Here we go. Now I've got layers turned over. There we go. That's the Labor platform there, just in case you guys needed a refresher. So yeah, that's that thing there that you're looking at is only 170 euros. So if you add the oscilloscope, added 60 euros to that, it's still pretty cheap. And then you guys can go nuts with your own DIY electronic project.
Make lots of money
if that's what you want to do. We got to keep going, guys, because I've got so many more things to show you. Next is, let me get that back. Come back. There we go. Next. Do you guys love Tip Top Audio and how they're really digging their teeth into the whole Buchla stuff? Well, I mean, obviously Buchla love them doing it too because it's a little collaboration project. This thing here is called the Poly Patch. It's a quad sample and hold module to 264T. We are looking at $260 for this. Now, there was something interesting that I read about this before we kind of get into the nuts and bolts. Apparently, Don Buchla designed this thing back in the early 1970s, and there was only a few of these that were ever made. And the actual module features a high-speed sample and hold circuit that can be switched to track and hold. So this is kind of, when I started reading about this is starting to like, oh yes, I know about this stuff, right? So what it does is it delivers an exceptional performance you'd expect for handling things like polyphonic type duties, right? So he kind of started doing this groundbreaking polyphonic adapter feature, and this is before anyone had built a polyphonic synthesizer. So this whole thing was kind of before Tom Oberheim and before the SEM thing, that's 1975. So so this is the remake of that, and you get to sort of travel down 1970s and play with it. It's pretty cool. I'll show you the video, and then you guys can have a little look. Buchla stuff is kind of not in my world, but it might be yours.
This is a cool 264 patch by Kyle Swisher. In fact, I would recommend going to the Source of Uncertainty podcast that this is on and check it out, where he's looking at the MEMS version of the 264. So we bridge pulse out to pulse in on all four. We set stages here to 4, and we go to common, not separate. So common 4, these are bridged. Pulse outs go to 4 different 281 function generators. CV outs go to 4 different oscillators. They're tuned in unison. And so what happens is, as I touch these, they scroll through and they sample whatever pitch is already preset here. So if I just... And then if you arpeggiate, you get sort of polyphony. You can't play all at the same time.
Clever little bit of circuitry, and you guys saw that the moment that he started touching those little control pads, that you saw the way the track and hold was working on it, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but you could see the little light stepping across, so it had that bit of a round robin sort of feel to it, and that's how you knew that straight away that the the voltage was being remembered on each of those channels.
Yeah.
And that's how you're getting that sort of polyphonic sort of capabilities there. Anyway, what do you guys think of this?
Well, I can tell you one thing that reminds me of. The rings here. What's that? The old rings. Because that has the same kind of algorithm in it, doesn't it? That allows it to do semi-polyphonic tones.
Like strumming, yeah.
Yeah, so strumming. That's exactly that's my take on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like that, isn't it? It's like that, but in
Buchla.
broken out into electronics.
Yeah.
Instead of code. That's very cool.
It's kind of nerdy, but if you know what you're doing with
Exactly.
with control voltages and function generators and things like that, then once you start working out these patches, I mean, the way he explained the patch at the start was kind of important because for those people who want to sort of delve into Buchla, you kind of need to know how these work. But once you get yourself into that world, it's actually not that hard, really. The other thing I should mention is this also has the integrated art quantizer and things like that that's equipped with this. So if you guys don't know, the art is the polyphonic connective stuff that Tip Top are doing, and you can see right up the top you've got the art outputs. So that's actually pretty important because then you can integrate that with your other stuff that you're doing. Anyway, good stuff. Musically, not really fantastic, but functionally
technology.
Amazing.
It's the technology part of the show. That's all.
Strums are always fun. So
yeah, strums are nice. Yeah.
Okay, we are getting very close to the end of the news. Jeez, it's been a lot this week, hasn't it, boys? Right, next one we've got is this Weston Precision Audio. These guys have brought a new product out. This is called the HV1. The HV1, I don't actually have a video or an audio demo, but Devin did reach out to me and he said that everything that I've got presented here seems to be correct. So I'll just read some stuff for you guys and you guys can have a look at the module. I'll make it a bit bigger for you. There you go. The HV1 is a hybrid oscillator that combines the stability of an analog triangle core VCO with the versatility of digital phase shifting and wavetable capabilities. This allows for a wide range of sonic possibilities from classic analog tones to complex digital textures. Obviously for eurorack, there's an octave switch on here which enables you to offer an 8-octave range. There's analog triangle core, super stable, so the actual oscillator itself is digital, which gives you that stable performance, but the actual triangle core is actually analog. It's an analog VCO, so you've actually got that's where the hybrid part of it comes into it. The phase shifter outputs can be triangle and morphed wavetable waveforms. There's multiple waveform outputs, sawtooth, pulse, sine waves through analog processing. There's detuning features there where it gives you 2 parallel oscillators for richer sounds. Linear phase modulation through 0 FM, 16-way morphing wavetable outputs, auxiliary CV inputs, built-in tuners, $395 US. It's available soonish. One thing I just want to mention too is if you're going to release a product and you're going to put it out there in the big wide world, at least at the very, very basic level, have an audio like on SoundCloud or somewhere so that we can have a listen to it. That would probably be my recommendation. I mean, like if you look at Brian went to a massive, his video was amazing, what he did. So he showed different use examples of it. He showed the examples at the start of his video before he started going into explaining stuff. So take some ideas off of Brian. He's doing it the right way. We love showing new stuff, but we really can't get excited about stuff like this until we really see it in action. Wouldn't you agree, guys?
Absolutely.
Does it say what the micro SD card slot is for?
Doesn't, mate. This is what I'm saying. Other than, I would guess, it supports loading some sort of wavetable files. That would be what my guess. Yeah. So hopefully he does a video soon.
He doesn't have a label next to it. It's just a card, right? There's no label or anything.
Yeah. That's kind of annoying. And what sort of menu diving has this got? It's got a massive, huge encoder up the top left-hand corner. Obviously, there's some sort of programmability with this thing in it. So it'd be just nice to know a little bit more about it. Anyway,
it's the modern alpha dial.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing you kind of don't really want is like to be standing there on your module and then going just in that one spot, click, 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 and doing that like
too many times.
Get tennis elbow after a while doing it. You kind of, a lot of these things you just want to be able to dial something up quickly and then get it going and then leave it, and then those controls on the front panel should be the main features of the musicality of this thing. So you got to be careful with that sort of stuff. All right, awesome. Last thing off the is second suck of the salve from Behringer. Holy crap! Now this is interesting, right? You guys probably saw the video, didn't you? These guys are re-releasing the Deepmind. I don't know why they're re-releasing it. The Deepmind was completely fine as it was. All they've done is just given it a paint job, really, and a bit of
cheekier paint job.
Bit of cheek, yeah. So the prices are still the same. The functionality is still the same. And I've just got the desktop version there because I just thought it showed a little bit more on there. Anyway, do you guys want to watch the video? It was a pretty nice video. It's got that real sort of...
it's been a long time since... I can't believe they just painted it and not even put anything on it.
Well,
added a single
how do they get 10 years? Like, I bought my Deepmind. I swear I bought mine the second they announced it came out. And I've only had it for 8 years. So I don't know how they've got 10 years.
Yeah, I don't think it's 10 years,
Yeah. I was definitely one of the first to get
one. You do sort of tease things for 2 years before it actually comes out. So
that could be it. Yeah.
That's exactly it, isn't it?
That
the moment it's like
the moment
they announce it, the moment they launch it, it's two different things.
Let's have a look anyway.
Hi, today we are here for a special anniversary. It's been 10 years since Behringer Deepmind changed the game. We are celebrating a decade of innovation with a bold new look. Introducing the Deepmind X series with a new color, end sides, and panel graphics. Deepmind X has a pure analog signal path with the legendary 3109 Japanese style filter, stereo VCAs, and 12 voices of polyphony. It also includes 4 simultaneous effects engines with world-class quality algorithms from TC Electronics, Midas, and Clark Technique, including delays, reverbs, chorus, phaser, flanger, distortions, and many more. Deepmind X is an instant classic synthesizer, inspired from the past, designed for the future.
All right, so we get the message, right? So these guys, second suck at the Sav, it's the same product. Hey guys, but don't forget about this product. Yeah. Hey, we've given it a paint job. It's exactly the same. I think they've missed an opportunity, guys. They have missed an opportunity. What was the biggest problem with the Deepmind? Do you guys remember? It was the second oscillator.
I can't remember.
The second oscillator.
Second oscillator, not second LFO.
Yeah, second oscillator always was very, very rudimentary. In other words, it was kind of like it was a hack, that second oscillator. It was almost like it was a sub-oscillator hack type thing. So they could have given this a hardware refresh, brought it out, called it the X, and made it a completely second, instead of this being Juno-ish, they could have turned it into like a JX3P or whatever else that Roland had around that sort of, because this is pretty much a Roland redesigned synth, right? I noticed in the video they said a Japanese filter.
Yeah.
Geez, I wonder which Japanese filter they use.
Well, Kent also said on PSN yesterday that the filter is not the Juno type filter.
It's not the Juno, no, but it is a well, I'm not going to tell you which. It is a Roland-ish filter. That's about all I'll say.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, this is really nothing except for a paint job. But anyway, you guys want to make a comment about this?
And does the iPad app still work with it? Because you can control
it does.
iPad,
Yeah, they updated it. It still works. I mean, I checked it.
Oh, did they?
It's been a while since I checked it though, Daren, but it has. But I remember you asking me about that, and then they updated it, and then we checked it, and it worked again. So it stopped working for a bit.
Yeah, there was a good 6 months or more when it didn't work. They had to have a new version.
Yeah, there was a period where it didn't work, but then they got it working again. So I'm assuming it still works. Someone can confirm that though. I'm sure that people use their Deepmind a lot more. I've actually seen these on stage, so they're getting out there, and there's not a lot of hate for this. They've done a pretty good job with this synth, which well done for Behringer.
Yeah. It was the one Behringer product that I originally really liked. It's sort of, I know it's not a clone, but it's a version on there, singular clone. But at least it was something that we thought they might have gone in a different direction and started producing their own sort of unique synths, which didn't quite come about with it.
Yeah, it didn't quite happen like that, did it?
All right, well, I'm going to say bye-bye news. We're done. Need to have a lie down after that. That was a lot. Before we get into the next segment, can I give you guys the second clue for the synth quiz?
Certainly you can.
The second clue is wave shaping. So the first clue and the second clue have now been given, and there's still one more clue to go. So you can jump ahead and put your guess in if you want. But yeah, we still don't have a sponsor for our synth quiz section. I mean, we've got an amazing AI-generated stinger. Do you guys want to see it again? Here we go. Look at this.
Yeah, go for it. It's a lot of jumps.
Anyone spot the crappy AI-generated keyboard? Oh, yeah, you can tell because they never get the black and white keys correct.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there with AI. Hey, imagine, Dimitri, when they start doing those ChatGPT sequence codes. Imagine just how bizarre it's going to be with your uSEQ module. Anyway, what we'll do is... we'll go into how's your week been, and in that particular segment, I'd actually want to jump onto. We'll get to Brian in a sec, and we want to jump onto his Etsy store and have a look at the Robots Are Red stuff that he's got available, and But we'll start with how's your week been, and we'll start with. Are you ready, Daren? You ready to go?
Go for it.
I'm always ready. I've not got too much support. I was down at a wedding this week, so I've not done anything in the studio. And then I've got a bit of a cold. Well, I'm hoping it's a cold.
A cold and a doze.
I've not done anything. The only thing I am doing is just writing the live set for Off the Tracks Festival in August. So other than that, I've not done anything. Oh, I did actually. Is that a lie? Didn't I, Chris? I put a track out in 2 hours last Sunday because I hadn't got one ready.
We saw that. That was good.
Yep, 2.5 hours, including the video.
That was
on the track. And in fact, that was the idea of the track actually, because it was just literally a blank screen when I came in here, and I thought I've got 2.5 hours because I wanted to watch the Formula 1 highlights as well. So I had 2.5 hours to get a video out and a track, and that's what came out, and it was actually not bad. Actually, it was quite a decent track. So
fantastic.
People liked it. So yeah, so other than that, I've done nothing this week. Been to a wedding, come back with a bad cold, rough, and writing for the big festival in August. So that's me.
Good. Done well. Nice and brief. Awesome. Love your work. Andy, how's your week been?
Hey. Yeah, about the same. Did some wacky live streams here and there. Been doing hardware jams again. I took a break for a while, but I'm doing those again. And hey, look what showed up. I actually am starting to replace the stolen shit.
Oh, you got a white one. Done well, buddy.
Well, that's the one that was stolen. That's the one that was stolen.
Exactly.
So,
That's what I'm saying. You've done well. Because they're not that easy to come by.
My projects were gone. I got to start all over again.
Was that brand new? Did you get that brand new, or was that a used one?
No, you can't. You can't find them new anymore. So.
Oh, okay.
But it's minty. It's very minty.
Very minty. Nice.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
So
Well, congrats on
slowly
getting the
shit
JDX
that
side,
I got
mate.
lost. Yeah, I really like it. I have some other projects in mind I need to work on it. So
you do miss it if you didn't have it. That'd be for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's very powerful. So yeah, good stuff.
Nice work, mate.
That's
All right, head over to Ian. How are you, buddy? How's your week been?
I'm all right. Yeah. Obviously, I was at the Synth and Pedal show last week, but I'm sure we'll talk about that in the Sonority bit. Probably. We've had Jane's birthday this week, so we had a nice day in Bath yesterday. Yay! She's not around.
Oh, that's just for
gone
her.
out for the afternoon. But that,
Shall we do this?
I'll tell her. Yay! No. I'm prepping for a Bristol EMOM in about 10 days' time. I'm not doing it on my own. I'm doing it with a friend, so that'll be. Although we haven't quite decided what we're going to be playing yet. We're getting together on Tuesday to actually plan what exactly we're going to be playing. Released a new album this morning actually, but it's only for subscribers to the Bandcamp, so it's not going to be available to anybody else at the moment. £3 if you want. There we are. Here's the plug. £3 if you want to subscribe per month. I had to buy a new Mac keyboard because my old one, I got back from London and it just wouldn't work. So
I had one of those do that. That's weird. Is that the one with the number pad on it?
I mean, I tried it on my laptop as well to make sure it wasn't something that was going weird on in here, and it just wouldn't work at all. It's complete. Although power was going through it because I had the mouse plugged into the little
on
USB
the other side of it,
and that worked. Yeah. But none of the keys worked. Anyway, I was going to buy a brand new one, but they're like 150 quid or whatever. 18 quid on eBay for a second-hand one.
Wow.
Brilliant. So don't buy new, buy second-hand. And last but not least, I've been buying some software. I've bought the Audio Things Reso 9, which is the Roland string organ.
Oh, cool.
Little machine. Mainly because I bought quite a lot from them, and it was £15. I thought, I can't go wrong with that. I think it's on offer at about 40 odd at the moment. Anyway, and while I was there, I bought a couple of plugins. I bought the Orb plugin, which is one of their weird sort of experimental things, and along with their Wires plugin, which I think are to do with Heimbach.
Yeah, the
I haven't
Wires
tried
is
them yet.
Heimbach.
I spent 50 quid on that lot last night.
Your Wires is cool.
Not tried them yet. Yeah,
You'll have fun with Wires.
It did sound like my sort of thing, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
You were like,
so that's it, really. Yeah,
nice,
all good,
fantastic. Well, make sure you wish Jane happy birthday from us all.
I will do, from all you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Right, heading over to my neck of the woods, Chris. How's your week been? Hey.
Oh, week's been hot.
Oh, it hasn't it?
Yes, I've been trying to stay cool, which means I haven't really been able to do anything in the studio or the workshop behind me this week, except in the evenings, very late evenings. Just to show you how hot it is. There. So, in Celsius, which you'll have to convert into Fahrenheit for those people who live in bananas.
That's the current temperature
31
right now.
degrees. That's the current temperature in this room right now. So,
yep.
Yes, it'll probably be down at 27 about 4 a.m. in the morning.
We're only an hour away from midnight too, by the way. That's the current temperature near midnight.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because we've had heat waves, so we've had 5-6 days in a row above 35 degrees. So
Next week's
yes,
cooling
so
down.
yes, thank the Lord.
Yeah. It's about
yeah,
88
so-
degrees Fahrenheit for anyone wondering.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Not bad,
sound
and
any
not
here-
bad for 11 p.m., is it? Hey?
And here in Southwest, it's actually 11 degrees. So it's not very warm over here at the moment.
Oh,
I love a bit of that. No, I'll have to get my air conditioner fixed. Yeah, so basically this week I've been sitting in the air-conditioned part of the house coding. I've been coding day in, day out, basically, in Python. So, because I promised someone in the chat that I actually show some Python, so, okay, people, see, there's some Python. So I've been writing all this week. So yes, it all looks very impressive when it scrolls by that fast, doesn't it? But that's the compiler for the blocks digital processing language that I developed for my Trexie module, which will be the first module that uses this. Just showing you a bit of the output of. Is it? No, it's not showing output. Great. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of Python coding. So I haven't actually programmed Python before, so this is the first project I've done in Python, and it's gone quite well. So pretty happy with the results. Although probably should mention the language I'm actually programming in, because it's one I've invented, which is unfortunately not a Lisp or anything like it. Wish I'd thought of that. So yeah. So this is it's actually a bit messy to read here, but you can see we've kind of been travelling similar necks of the wood, Dimitri. But you've been doing it a lot longer than I have. I kind of just started this about a week ago, and I've got this this kind of code compiling into a very, very small, underpowered Arduino type based device in my little Trexie module, which is not nearly as grand as the uSEQ, but so yes, I was very interested in that, because obviously it's we've been solving the similar problems, but you've obviously been working at it a lot longer and doing a much grander job with a much better CPU.
So are you doing any sort of lexical or syntax kind of formalities here? Are you getting the Becker's NOR form happening, or what's happening here, brother?
It's similar to what Dimitri was talking about with in my case it's a square bracket. It begins a verb, and then the parameters are on the exactly the same, separated by spaces. So it's very similar, but it's one that I just kind of dreamed up myself in a way. Part of the reason why I would do that is because that's kind of one of the things I did when I was working. What I did mainly in my career was writing languages and conversion of languages. So I wrote software that converted, for example, it was a type of BASIC called MB86. My first job when I started working was to convert all our programs from this MB86 language, which is like a BASIC, into C programmatically. So it had to do obvious stuff, and it also had to do less obvious stuff, like actually do the programmer's intent as opposed to what the language actually said. So yeah, and throughout my career, actually, I was doing all sorts of different kind of compilers of language. Some of them visual, in terms of ones that actually laid out kind of almost like HTML or markup language type stuff like that.
Do you actually mean compiler, or do you mean more interpreter? Just
this is not live coding, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is a compiler, so it's actually taking text input and converting it into a binary format.
Okay.
A bespoke binary format, specifically a very light format with a very small footprint, designed to run in these small microcontrollers that I'm using on the Trexie.
Nice.
So yeah, but it's I tell you what, when it comes to languages, it doesn't matter how complicated the thing is you're doing. If you can describe it adequately, the value goes way up. So, just I mean, as I'm sure Dimitri can attest to, just giving sort of names to things. I have to admit, I do have, I'm not showing it here, but there are some abbreviations. So you can enter in, anything that you can shorten, you can specify and shorten. The thing about this language is this is mainly for me to muck around in initially, but my intention, of course, is to have an actual visual editor, which actually sort of more like a pure data or a Max for Live kind of thing. But specifically I have a certain visual idea about how I want it to appear, so that it's quite easy for non-programming people to understand. So that's kind of the angle. That's what I was asking Dimitri about the what GUI he was using, or what language he was using to present his GUI, because that's kind of the next problem I have to solve, is to decide how I'm going to actually design the visual editor for this.
Yeah, and it's not an easy problem to solve at all, is it?
No.
Yeah, there's so many candidates to pick from.
Yeah, but at the moment I'm leaning towards, just because I've written this in Python, I'm now leaning towards PyQt, which is a wrapper for Qt, which is apparently very well known cross-platform application development language used by Ableton in Live and OBS Studio, which I'm using right now. So I thought, if it's good enough for them, it's probably good enough for me.
Fantastic.
So that's what I've been doing this week, because I had my head in code. So it was kind of ending the week of coding, then seeing code was kind of like a little on the edge of sort of my brain exploding, but I enjoyed it anyway. So thanks Dimitri. That was unexpected and very awesome what you guys are doing. So certainly tell the difference here between a couple of months me and several years of PhD. So you can tell the difference. So yeah, apart from that, I've been I mentioned that thing over there that's flashing 1, 2, 3, 4 is the Vostok DivKid trace, which I've been doing some built last week, and I've been playing around with it this week. Did a short video of it, which I posted on Discord. So if you people were in Discord, you'd see that video by now. But not everyone wants to be in Discord, but it's a really good idea. It's a great place.
Good plug. Should we do the plug?
Should we do the plug for Discord? That was what I was trying to lead to.
That's a Discord server address, people.
Oh, well done. Yes.
Keep going.
Yep. So apart from that, is there anything crazy I've done? Apart from champing at the bit to actually build some modules to actually put into stock and give to certain people to test. But of course, it's been so hot that I haven't been able to do that, so that's why I buried my head in code, because I thought it's the best time to do coding when you can't get into the workshop, so to speak. So apart from that, yeah, everything's okay here. People are good. You may have noticed I have a new T-shirt.
It's nice.
Thank you. That was a birthday present. Isn't that awesome?
That's lovely.
I have to admit, I did do the designs and order it, and then had it sent to the people who gave it to me as presents. But yes, so I have a few T-shirts like this and a few others.
Get it on your Etsy store.
It is on my. Oh, you mean the actual T-shirts?
Yeah, the T-shirt. Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I might be stepping on someone else's toes. I don't really want to do that yet. But yes, no. I think the idea is you get people actually buying your products first, and then you can afford to sell the merch.
Yeah,
that's where I've gone wrong.
At least that's it. That's my crazy idea.
I saw more T-shirts than albums.
Yes, I know. No, I don't know actually. But yeah, back to you, Rance.
Awesome. We're going to head over to Brian's Etsy store now. Speaking of Etsy stores, I mean, that was actually a really good segue, to be honest. Here we go. There's Brian's Robots Are Red Etsy store. Now, you got quite a bit of cool stuff on here, mate. You got the SumpPump, of course. You've got some really inexpensive things on here as well. Like, I do like some of the little
blank panels and stuff.
Panels and things you've got going. Yeah. Especially with your artwork on it. Like I mentioned before, you've got really good artwork designs. Should we have a click on some of these?
Yeah, so that's the blank panel that kind of goes with the SumpPump, kind of pair with it. Similar design style with the panel there. Just kind of using it as an art medium, and using what we have with the panels. I really like using the bare circuit board for that translucency. I think that's a great effect. I use it, I think, almost all of my panels now with these gooey ones, and
I love that. It's sort of like the drips. Yeah, that was really
yes,
cool.
and then so there's 3 different sizes, and they actually all line up, so you could kind of stack them next to each other, and it'll make a whole continuous scene.
Nice.
Ah, nice. Great. Yep, got it. Yeah.
And then up top there, I have I just listed it like yesterday, I think, and I already sold out of these Pet Rock black panel versions. See, there's a ton of people have that Pet Rock panel or module, and Cray.Space and myself worked on doing a black panel version here for us, and we figured we'll just put it up for sale. And I'm just pricing it as cheap as I can, pricing it like a blank, very affordably, since the original module was just sold at cost.
It's like
for
£4.
like $40.
Very cheap.
Yeah. So yeah, it's $5 for the panel. If you want it for less, you could buy the cheapest thing in my shop and just send me a message and say you want a Pet Rock panel too, and I'll send that with. Just kind of go with the whole theme of that. And this is my LED blank panel. It's 6 HP blank that it has power headers on the back, so you can light it up. There's it going, showing the different speeds. There's the 2 power headers, both of them work, and the other is a power through, so it doesn't use up bus board space.
Cool.
Nice. Awesome. What else was there?
Yeah. And then pretty soon I'll be adding this book into my shop. It's by Radio Koala, a guy out in Belarus, I believe. He has this great book of patch tips for if basically you don't have X or Y dedicated module, how can you get around that, and how could you still achieve that patch? So yeah, really great book. Like, open up right here, just how to get a gate delay without a gate delay, all that good stuff. So that should be up in next couple weeks.
Oh wow, I'll definitely have a look at that. That's for sure. Nice, awesome. And anything planned in the works, module-wise, or are you just sort of having a breather from this one?
A little bit of having a breather, but then also like, what else can we do with what we have with SumpPump? So there's the idea for a guitar pedal version for it that's a little bit more expanded. It'll still have a duck input, and it'll have sidechain input. So that's all planned for it. And then from there, if SumpPump people really like it, we might consider doing an XL version with more control, attack and release CV control, more duck control, kind of break out to a little bit more of a pro version of that. It'll be probably twice as big, but and then I'm actually part of another modular company that we just launched earlier this year, Mega Modular Corp. It is a collaborative company with like 5 of us right now, and then a bunch of other collaborators of just a bunch of us younger makers building fun modules that we otherwise couldn't really do on our own. We have some fun collaborations coming out probably around KnobCon time, and at the moment we have some nice little basic modules of an envelope generator, a VCO, and a mixer.
Cool.
And that's megamodular.co if you want to check that out.
We can bring that up, megamodular.co. Is it loading? It is. Let me just hit this button here. There we go.
So that's our kind of flagship module there, Mailroom. It's an envelope generator with a built-in VCA, velocity control on the envelope, and there's a shape control as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I've got a nice little blog. The joint companies there. It's myself, Seatnik Synth, Tidbit Audio, Space, and Hive Mind Synthesis.
Fantastic.
So shout out to all those guys.
It's like the modular synth mafia.
I do apologize if you guys hear if you guys are hearing a lot of noise. We've just had rain hit our roof here, and
I thought it was me for a moment.
Can you hear rain in your place?
Well, all I can hear is wind because I've got all my fans on.
I can hear the rain.
Yeah, it's actually really heavy.
We'll get it soon.
Anyway,
okay, we'll get it soon.
We'll persevere. Hopefully, it doesn't do anything bad. We haven't had rain for ages. Anyway, that is it for like all the newsy stuff and how's your week been. But it's not it for the cool segments because we have this one to get into. Oh yeah! And this is just for Brian and Dimitri. That there's a famous Australian movie called The Castle, and there's a quote out of that when someone is selling something used and the price is too high, this is what he said.
Tell him he's dreaming.
That's it. Tell him he's dreaming. And so hopefully we could come up with some this week. Oh my God. It's as corny as you can get. Trust me. Starting with this one. This one is the Variophone Riddleton. And you guys will remember this thing as that kind of fluty looking synthesizer from the 70s, really, isn't it? And it doesn't that look like a dustbin with a flute attached to it?
It
does. Just who came up with this design? Seriously, what were you thinking? They are pretty rare. This is 999 euros. I don't know if that is good or bad, and it's on eBay. It's on here. Should we check it out? It's on eBay. What button do I press? That one. So click on that, make it big. There we go. So there, yeah. I mean, you can see the age of this thing. Do you guys remember seeing these things in some of the 70s bands? They had them. I mean, look at this interface, hey? It's crazy.
They look like 8-track cartridges.
Didn't Andy Mackay in Roxy Music play one?
Well, they had these little circuit cartridges, kind of like a gaming cartridge, right? And they were patches. They were basically patches. That's what they were. And you chuck them into the little cartridge slots there, so you could have up to 4 patches. And I think you could combine them or something. I think that was kind of its trick. But geez, that's an ugly looking thing. My God. The cleaner might mistake it as the bin.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's the kind of thing it's like, hang on, the cleaner's left something behind. No, he hasn't.
It did have storage for the flute part. That's kind of cool, though. There's a little storage section there.
That's good.
The little foam storage, indeed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not sure what the price is, whether that's good or bad or indifferent. You guys can be the judge of that. So I thought that one was interesting. What else did I find for you guys during the week? We talk about this synthesizer almost to death because we love it. It's the Ensoniq ESQ1. I mean, I absolutely adore I've got one sitting over there.
Yeah, they're great.
796 Australian. What's that? It's about £400. You guys can work that out in US. 500 quid, $500 US. I don't know. That seems to be the going rate, I feel.
Yeah, I was going to say that's been that price for a long time.
There are 2 versions of this. I don't know if you guys remember. There's a plastic
metal
version.
case and the plastic case.
Yeah, and you want to get the metal one. You really want to get the metal one because they last longer.
Although some people would argue that the one with the circuitry that's working is preferable to any of them. Because the ESQ one's very notorious for having...
The plastic one has the heatsink on the outside. So
this is on Reverb, and it says on here, the metal version gives it more grit, warmth, and character.
Especially when you hit yourself in the head with it, yeah.
Oh my God. It's heavy as anything, this synth.
They're very heavy.
Yeah. That one seems to be
worse.
That one seems to be a good price. Anyway, not sure about the pillows. Next, this thing. I came across this and I thought, what the? This is the Bird Kids, the Bachelor. It's spelt in a kind of Frenchy sort of way. Mark II. I don't remember seeing this thing before. Maybe Maybe
This
I have.
company is the one that had the screwed up Kickstarter, and they went belly up before they shipped everyone's Kickstarter. They're totally dead.
Okay, so these guys are a non-contendo. Well, then you can buy this thing.
Yeah.
What does this do though? That's kind of crazy, right? Is it like a monosynth? Is that what it is? I think it's a monosynth.
I think it was a synth voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
They made a few different things, but the one MIDI controller thing was the one that went belly up, and then the whole company disappeared.
Yeah, ran off with your money.
Yeah, basically. Took my $70, whatever it was.
Yeah. Oh, geez, mate. You should chase after them.
You know what
with your
kills me?
baseball bat.
Perfect Circuit was selling them.
Yeah, that's.
And I had to yell at them and say, "What the hell are you guys doing?" "Oh, sorry, we had a shipping issue." Like, well, why does the store have it and we don't have it as backers?
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous company. So that's why they're dead.
We can go there, can't we? Anyway, so if it's a dead company, then I guess it's a risk getting these things.
Support.
Yeah. It's like buying vintage gear. The next thing is the GRP synthesizer, the A1. It's an analog desktop synth. Do you guys remember this thing?
GRP makes nice stuff.
Yeah? No? Yeah? No?
No.
About £430 on Reverb. And we do have a couple of pictures. I wish it wasn't so blurry. Like, he's used a camera which is focused on the LFO section and nothing else. But hopefully, there we go. That gives you a better look at it. It's still a little blurry. Make an effort, people, with your listings.
Good knowledge.
I think this guy likes photography more than like selling his gear. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Does anyone ever remember the GRP A1? No.
No, they had just big systems for a while. I assume GRP, like massive systems.
What do you mean, like modular systems or desktop systems?
Yeah. There was a woman on YouTube called Synthifrau for years, was doing demos. It's this German lady, and she's really good. And there's a lot of GRP stuff. It's pretty cool.
All right, well, that's it for the used stuff. There was 4 things. There was the Variophone, the Ensoniq ESQ1, the Bird Kid, the Bachelor Mark II, and this thing, the GRP. What would you get out of those 4? And none is also an accepted answer.
I have to try GRP. I already have an Ensoniq.
Yeah, I've already got an Ensoniq.
Yeah.
No one's after the Variophone?
I don't know. That looked pretty cool to me. It's that trash can shape too.
That trash can shape.
I got the feeling if I tried that, I'd just blow at it.
Oh.
Oh.
No, I'm not even going to press a button.
Where's the tumbleweed?
Actually, I'll just do...
It's so bad he can't even bother pressing the FX button.
I'll do that laugh for you instead.
Yeah, it's better. Yes,
all right. We are done with everything, and we can do the last clue. You guys think I'm addicted to this stinger? I just do it to troll. Really, it's purely just a troll.
Mission accomplished.
It's a hit, Rans.
It's a hit.
Definitely.
I love AI. Not. Okay, what do we got? Third clue, people, is AHDSR envelopes. I had to say that slowly because I didn't want to miss out the letter. You've got the 3 clues up now. And don't forget, the quizmaster this week is sitting in chat. His name is Wagoo. Good old Daniel, he's in chat waiting for you guys to see if anyone can guess it. The answer is going to be Ranzee space synth quiz and then a space and then your answer. That's what you're going to do if you're going to have a go. Yeah. Does anyone know what an HDSR envelope is? Hey.
It's got an extra stage.
What does the H stand for? I think it might be...
Happy.
Honking.
I'm giving a hint.
Attack honk.
Something like that.
I
it's
think
not what Ian said.
Jack's
He's
giving it away in the
Jack's
in
awesome.
The chat.
Don't pick on Jack. He's a good fella.
I'm not.
All right. Culture of Ghosts has got his guess in. He reckons it is the Modal 008. The brother of 007? Is that what that is? Don't know what the... I'm not going to tell you if that's right or wrong. Half God, Half Beast says it's the Korg Multi-Poly. That's what he thinks it is.
That's a good point.
Yeah. You guys remember the 3 clues? I'm not going to tell you what they are again, but I know what they are because I was the one that said them. There were 3 keyword clues. You put those 3 together, put them in a blender, give it a stir, put some pepper and salt in it. I don't know what. And out comes your synth. What is it? Who has a go? We're not going to sit here and wait. You guys can just keep trying until somebody gets it. And like I said, that segment doesn't have a sponsor. So if you are watching and you think to yourself, I need to sponsor that.
As you do.
Dimitri, I'm the best advertised person you've ever met, aren't I? Just look at the sheer people that just want to just jump onto it right now. We're going to do Saturday Sonority. Saturday Sonority is, well, let's tell you what it is when we get to the other side of this. That's it. Ask us anything. Well, I mean, don't ask me anything. But yeah, I mean, it could get a bit weird. But basically, it means we can sit back in our chairs, we can let our hair down. I've got so much hair to let down. We can ask these guys questions.
Okay, Ranzee, paper or plastic?
What shall I go for? I'm going to say paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going for scissors.
Good answer.
Nah, paper.
Who's going for rock?
I'm going for renewables.
I'm going for rock.
I brought my own bag.
Excellent. Good move. I try to do that all the time.
So there's only 2 guesses in the synth quiz. That is pathetic, you people. What are you doing? How many people are on this YouTube channel right now? Let's have a look. Oh my God, there's a lot of people on here. What's going on?
I've got nobody clicking the like button, but...
Oh, what? Geez, we'll fix that. This, Ian, watch what I do. This is like magic. Watch this.
Yeah, I'll do it now.
See that? Like the stream. Don't forget to click like.
Yeah. Don't forget, I've just done it.
Oh.
And I'm according to this, I'm the first person to click like. So
and then
let me just refresh.
Dear.
I mean, I haven't mentioned half the stuff this week.
17.
Been so busy.
17.
No housekeeping.
Out of 58, 57.
You know what? Guys. You shouldn't. Don't just click the like because Brian and Dimitri are here. That's what you should be clicking like for.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of those gentlemen came here off the cuff. They had hardly any notice. What did you guys have? 24 hours, 34? Not much notice. And here you are. You're talking about your gear. You did a perfect job. You guys should be given a pat on the back.
And if you don't like the show, just click the down arrow, the dislike. That's the word I'm trying to find. Click the dislike. It doesn't matter.
It's still
YouTube
engagement.
doesn't care.
It all counts.
Yeah. YouTube doesn't care.
Oh well. I mean, hey, we've been doing this show for 6 years.
I know.
I haven't had anyone be really nasty about it yet. So we've had.
There's
had
time.
some.
There's time.
Yeah, there's still time. Yeah. Oh dear.
We did get a copyright strike. That was the one nasty guy. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think I called him a rude name, so I think he just got a little bit upset about that. Yeah. Now, so Saturday Sonority. Last week we did the BeatStep Pro, and that, like Brian, I have to tell you, it was nearly a complete train wreck. We set the show up, we're ready to go, and my BeatStep Pro just wouldn't work at the start of the stream.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I watched it on playback. It was funny.
So we had surgical repairs on the BeatStep Pro to get it working again.
Oh, that's right. I clicked on that show last week and saw you had the back of it open. And
yeah,
that's right.
That's not normal.
we had a 50-50 chance.
It's a
DIY
DIY
to flip the
show.
board, right? So.
Yeah. I can't believe we managed to get it to work. It was probably sheer luck than anything. But anyway, these things happen when you do live streams, guys. I have to warn you, if you ever want to get into the live stream caper, if you think it might fail, it will fail. Even if it's like a micron of a thought, it's going to fail.
If you're afraid of failing, this might not be the gig for you.
Yeah,
Well, it's just like an EMOM. I had stuff fail. Yeah, that happens. So
I've had that more than once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Murphy's Law.
I even filmed it and then put it out.
Dimitri, you've done trade shows, mate. So I wanted to pick your brain about that. So you did the guitar pedal one recently, didn't you?
Oh, the guitar synth pedal.
Yeah.
Right.
So how did that go?
It was really nice. We've only done Synth East and Machina Brastronica before that. And Brastronica was massive, both in space and crowd. And what that resulted in is a lot of people weren't there for however many hours is required to pay enough attention to every table. And so they would just kind of walk past and make that split-second decision of like, am I going to spend a couple minutes here or can I not afford that? And so what happened is at Synth East and then at the London Synth and Pedal show, because they were smaller, the crowd felt a little bit more keen to like stop by and check things out, even if they weren't immediately interested off the top. This time we also tried to have a bit more of a table presence, so I had my laptop with the editor and the kind of colorful waveforms going on, and that definitely drew people in. They were like, what is this code and visual thing? But yeah, it was lovely. The only problem that I had with it is that I only had for the 2 days, I only had about 5 or 10 minutes in total to walk around and see what other people were demoing. It was so full on. So by the end of it, my voice was done. I needed like 10 cups of ginger and honey tea to recover.
Yeah, your voice. Yeah. Well, you had a chat to Nick Batt, which I thought was nice. So. Was that at the guitar show that you were talking to Nick? Yeah,
so that was a couple of weekends ago, or no, I think it was this past weekend.
Last weekend. It was last weekend.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, Nick was lovely. I mean, I've been watching his videos for so long that I didn't want to mention how old I was when I started, not to like make him feel old, but it was amazing to chat to him. No one really prepares you for the psychological pressure of having that light shining in your face though. You never quite expect that until it hits you, and then it's like, oh my god, it's a literal spotlight. And so yeah, it took a while to kind of get into the groove of it. But it was lovely chatting to him. And then not even 24 hours later, the video was online, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's quick.
He's so quick at doing it. Yeah, he's got it all worked out.
I mean, you can make him feel even older if you tell him how old you were when Tom's Diner came out. So
yeah.
Let's
I
not
mean, my perception of the London Synth and Pedal show was slightly different, Dimitri, because I went to it last year, and the event was ticketed, and last year they were checking tickets, so I think they were checking how many people went in. Now it's not a large venue, is it?
No.
I felt it was oversubscribed a lot this year. So much so that I had to go back to certain tables 3 or 4 times before I could get to look at the gear.
Happy birthday!
Oh yeah, they're shouting happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Oh, thank you, everybody. Had a great day yesterday. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. So I was slightly disappointed. I mean, I think it's a good event. I just think they need to police it better. The fact that it was so difficult to get around a lot of the time. I didn't go on the Sunday. I just went on the Saturday. It might have been slightly better on the Sunday. I don't know.
It was a little, yeah. But, as I said, I didn't have any time to actually walk around. So, but I could see that around peak, around lunchtime on the Saturday, it was packed. It was really
was absolutely. I turned up about 1 o'clock and it was absolutely heaving. So, but yeah. So that's. But it is a good event. They just need to sort of slightly police it better, I think. The fact there was nobody checking tickets at all. So I'm sure a lot of people just turned up and walked in. So, and I didn't come to your table. I apologise, but there again, I'm not the modular guy, so it wasn't going to happen for me. I walked past all the modular stuff. I did do a little bit.
He's never going to walk in that direction, Ian.
No, I wasn't. I tell you, I went to the Soma table 4 times before I got to play on the Flux. But no, it was good, but just way overcrowded.
Yeah, one issue that I find with a lot of these trade shows is that I think it'd be much more successful and effective for both the people visiting and the people exhibiting if there was a little bit of a legend of like this company is showing this kind of stuff and this company, so just like some kind of keywords. Because I think people would, showing up, it's really overwhelming unless you have the whole day to just walk around and speak to everyone. It's really overwhelming to be like, well, I've never heard of this company before, and just by if you just look at the tables, it's just modular racks with modules and patch cables. It's really hard to tell what each table
what's it doing.
Yeah, and so if there was a little, map of keywords that said, like Emute Lab Instruments, live coding, and this and so on, it'd be much more kind of, I can, I want to see this and this and that.
Yeah, I mean,
color coding would be nice.
I think part of the reason I didn't see the stuff from KMR were up on like a platform thing, and every time I looked to try and get up there, it was just, I mean, it wasn't a very big area. There was probably showing about four things, but you just couldn't get up there because it was just full of people, So I never actually went up there, I thought the talks were good. You would have got to see them. One of them, they were interviewing Lula York, and that was actually too quiet. It was really difficult to hear at the back. But the Electron talk at the beginning was really good. I stayed for a bit of that, And in fact, for the first time ever in my life, I got to play on some Electron gear, and it's all right, So it doesn't make me want to go out and buy it, but it was good stuff, really.
Now, speaking of the synth and guitar pedal show, whatever you want to call it, London Guitar and Synth Show.
They call it the Synth and Pedal Expo. Is its official name?
Right. Well, Ian did do a little video. Now, where did you send that to me? Via email, wasn't it? It was via email. Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
You can miss certainly the first 30 seconds because that's my intro bit. So
I'm just gonna get the link happening. Okay, sorry guys, I just need to get the link, and if I don't have the link, I can't show you the video. It is coming.
I can
coming.
I'm going to send it.
I've got to sign in. Hang on. I'm using Google Sheets, and it logged me out for some weird reason. There we go.
Bloody security.
Yeah. All right. So
we'll talk about that.
Let's get over to. modular.
Hey,
Hey,
Jeez, I wonder whose that was.
yeah. I couldn't get a noise out of the blue club.
don't feel bad. Most people can't.
No.
It's about 25 grand.
Was that guy there, Ian? The sorry, I'm just gonna the Soma guy.
Yeah.
What the
It wasn't
Vlad
Vlad.
Farmer?
It was
Vlad? Yeah.
It wasn't. Vlad wasn't there. It was a guy who was. I had a good chat to him actually because he talked me through the flux, and he's just started working with them. I think he's a real enthusiast. He's got most of the Soma stuff, and he was just him on his own. I think he brought his own stuff or some of
Right.
the stuff that had been sent from Soma. But he was really, really helpful. You know, he was great. Actually, he was trying to help everybody and trying to, you know. And the thing about the flux was that he had to describe what to do with it before people actually played with it, which he did with everybody, really. You know. So, but no,
How many rooms do they
good.
have
But
there
like I
for
say,
the show?
it did take. That was later in the afternoon because that was about 4 o'clock. Because, like I said, that was about my fourth visit before I even got my hands on. I was interested in, because I am interested in the Cosmos, and I wanted to have a mess around with that. So that's why I was able to go back and, you know, and actually get my hands on finally. You know. But
Wow. Awesome. That video, Ian, is that going to go up on your channel later on?
yeah, it's go up on Monday, so everybody will be able to see it from Monday morning.
There's a little bit more in there, so I left it
Yeah.
so that they can enjoy that. Right, let's just quick segue back to the synth quiz. We've had a few guesses now. We've had the Modal 008, we've had the Korg Multi-Poly, and Half God Half Beast has had another crack at it. We'll take your first guess as your official, but you've also said Arturia Pigments. Jack said the Kodamo Essence FM. Andy, you've said the Yamaha SY99.
I just
pure
totally
guess.
guessed.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue. So
James, where was James's guess? James, trying to find his guess now. Where's James's guess gone? Did he delete it? Oh, Valdorf.
'cause I have stuff
Blofeld.
that has AHDSR on it, but it doesn't have FM. So
I thought he guessed something else before that. Matt Brown said the Korg OP6. So, we've had a few guesses. We've had a few guesses, right? And I think we should probably end the quiz now. So, okay, I can tell you, I can tell you guys that no one's got it right, and the quiz master is to blame.
Yeah.
Yeah, even
It's the jelly synth, isn't it, Wagyu? It's the jelly synth.
well, Wagyu said, does he want us to give him does he want us for him to give a fourth clue? Let's not. Let's stick to the rules. We'll just do the three. I don't think it was that hard. Let's not do the fourth clue. I think what we'll do is, Wagyu, would you like to let everybody know in chat what the answer is, please? since he's the quiz master this week. Let us all know what the answer is, and
In capitals, please.
Yeah.
nah, let's not do the fourth clue. We'll stick to the rules. It was the M Audio Venom. That's what it was.
Yeah, I used to own one of them.
Yeah.
I have one. I didn't
So
even
the
know
clues
about the wave
were,
shaping. I don't remember
just in
wave
case you've
shaping.
forgotten, FM,
I
wave
don't remember
shaping,
the wavetable
and
thing.
HDSR envelopes. So the M Audio Venom definitely has those. He did actually, when he sent me the quiz, he sent me the link to the product description page, and it had all that stuff in there. So even that, you probably could have, I mean, I know a lot of people cheat and they Google it. You probably could have got that through that. But there you go. So would you like Wagoo to be the quizmaster next week, considering that he maintains the, what do you call it? The quizmaster title for a week? Or would you like someone else to do it?
Gee, deathly silence there.
Yeah.
Go for it. I mean, that's fine. Well done, Wagoo.
That was good. Do you want to have another go, Wags, next week?
Yeah, exactly. You can
have another go.
Too hard, you can
yeah,
pull it back a bit and just fine tune it.
Give it another go. We'll do it next week.
Yeah.
Don't
pick
forget
the DX7. That'll do. If you're going to do FM.
Does that mean that Wagoo actually has a Venom? I didn't think he had.
Oh, Wagoo wants to play, so he wants someone else to do it. All right. Well, anyone can do it. I mean, otherwise, if no one wants to put their hand up, I'll do it. But that's fine. Yeah, he's got a Venom, he said. I've never had a Venom.
Oh,
they're fun. I just haven't used it for a long time. So
I like the sound of it. I just thought the software inside it was just so poor.
I never touched that. I used it once and said, "Screw the software."
It kept crashing on mine. I was glad to be rid of it.
It had a band in a box feature, which was cool, just like on the Alesis Micron, where you could, in a single patch, do an entire track.
Yeah,
it's pretty clever actually.
Yeah, the Venom is sounding great, which it did, but the CPU was quite weak, and it really was. I had to keep factory resetting.
It was $200.
I think I paid a bit more than that for mine, but yeah, they were at the end where they were trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, doesn't matter. Just if no one wants to do it, I'll do the quiz next week. But if you do want to do it, you can reach out to me through the socials. There's all links to my contact details. If you just look, you'll find them. Trust me. Ranzee.com is a good place to start. Otherwise, we should probably wrap the show up, guys. We had a big show. We had awesome guests with Dimitri and Brian here. And you guys are welcome to come as many times as you like. It's not just a once-off caper. If you guys want to, I know Brian, you have to get up early in the morning, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Once you get your coffee into you, think about Andy. He's at San Francisco, mate. He gets up earlier than you. Yeah.
I'm a zombie until I get my nap. So.
Yeah, Andy, can I just ask, what were you doing at 3 o'clock in the morning, wandering around Fisherman's Wharf? Was it? That video was great, but what the hell are you doing at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Is that a horror thing?
No. I was up there making some money. I was doing some Uber. So
okay.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Was that when you were walking around Filmer Street as well?
Same thing. Yeah.
Lots
of money.
That sourdough bakery. That place looked really cool.
Right? Yeah, that place is amazing. Got the Mexican music coming out of it and stuff.
You know, I reckon it'd be cool if Andy could get away with this legally. I think would be the problem. But you know how you see those YouTube reelers or whatever you call them, and they're driving Ubers, and people are sort of into that social, like, live things happening in real life. But
I wouldn't do that. Like the taxi cab confessional, I wouldn't do that.
Imagine if Andy could do that and have some sort of synth rig happening in his Uber. And he was giving people a jam. Without getting pulled over by the cops.
Exactly.
It's not a mobile phone.
I do talk about it, and I do play tracks in the car for people who want to hear it, but I don't like force it down their throats. So.
Fantastic. Well, anyway, as I was saying, wrap up the show. It was a big show. We had a lot of products to get through, which was it's always awesome. I always find really nice things to sort of talk about during the week. It was awesome having Brian and Dimitri here. talking about their products, and also we had the synth quiz, and we had the funny side right at the start. So yeah, managed to get through all that, and then Ian did his fantastic video of the tour of the show that he went to last weekend. So it was packed full of goodies. If you guys, don't forget to click like if you like it, or subscribe if you haven't done that. And also, big thank you to everyone that's here on screen, because you guys have sat through almost 3 hours. Wow, you've done well. Go to have a lie down after this, or a beer or something. Not sure what you're going to do. I'm going to go to bed. It's nearly midnight here for me.
Still 31 degrees here.
It's still hot, yeah. Turn the air conditioner back on.
I think I'm just going to lie on the floor.
Quick goodbyes, guys. I'm going to say bye. And Daren, you got another track coming tomorrow?
God, no. I'm busy working, like I said, for the festival that I'm doing. So,
all right.
Once every 2 weeks, I think the track is.
Okay.
That'll put out YouTube.
Any streaming things happening for you?
Just the usual. Look for the random live streams. So.
Okay, cool. Ian, you got anything happening?
Nothing much from me really. I'm just going to be doing some practice, but video will be out on Monday.
Yeah. Chris, we're looking forward to seeing something pop out of your modular world.
I'm looking forward to see something pop out of my place as well.
Wow.
He's working on stuff. Don't worry.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
There's an NDA.
And guys, sure you can join me in giving Brian and Dimitri a round of applause for being part of the show. Well done, guys. Much appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Any parting words from you guys, and we'll wrap up.
I guess as far as events in the future, if anyone is in Chicago area, there's Chicago Electronic Music Conference at the end of April. I'll be there, and I'll be doing a modular workshop with that.
Fantastic. So that's not far away. April's like 2 days away, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Dimitri, anything cool happening with you? You're just working on those extra things that you showed before?
Yeah, so I'm working on a bunch of new features for the next firmware releases, both for the editor and the module. We're coming out with our next module, which is going to be a multi-oscillator. So my colleague Chris has been working on that, and it's super exciting. It's one of those things where it both there's a screen that visualizes how the different voices of the oscillator are being modulated, and he's come up with ways that both look amazing and sound great, which usually you have one or the other and then you're trying to shoehorn the other one in. Yeah, a couple of those things coming out in the near future, and then we're gearing up for Superbooth, so all of April is going to be all hands on deck, trying to get the new features and the new the new presentation. So this year the plan for Superbooth is no laptop inside, a huge screen, the keyboards, and then we're trying to make all of that work. So yeah, lots of work ahead.
Yeah, all the best with that. It's not that far away either.
Mate.
Yeah, Dimitri, are you going to be at Bristol Machina Bristronica?
We're gonna be in the next one, I think, as well. Yeah, in October. We've done it a couple
I'll come and say hi.
Far. Yeah, that would be.
You can try and convince me to get into modular.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen the thing with. Yeah, well, all of these trade shows, they teach you how to be really convincing and persuasive, and because you've only got a couple minutes of people's attention anyway. So
elevator pitch.
I've been refining my spiel. So yeah, I'll try it on you.
Yeah. Got to get the elevator.
Next up is shame them. You have to shame them into doing it. So
What look at you missing out?
It's good to meet you guys.
You could say something like there were no baby seals killed at all in making these modules.
Baby seal, yeah. Seal free.
In fact, the best way is don't show them a module first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
All right, guys.
Through their ears.
See you later. Enjoy.
Bye, everybody.
Press record.
Bye.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you very much for having
guys.
us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye.